In the words of a very, very famous music group, them be two, later become three. And that's how we've been two for the past 2 days. And now the third musketeer is back, joining us this morning on Breakfast Central.
I'm sure that was just 2 days because I don't want us to be two on the third day. You know what I'm saying?
I know, so third on the third day.
Three wise human beings.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And it's actually three wise men because, I mean, when you separate men from animals, they use men, living things, human race, man. You get. Yeah.
Although some will now argue, why is it not three wise, why is it not men and women, human race? No, let's not go into that.
Men.
It's okay. Good morning to our audience. Thank you for joining us.
And it's interesting that, I mean, most problems of women start with men.
I agree, like menstruation.
Yeah. Mental problem, meningitis, things like that. But that's
can we start
this?
Okay, let's start the show this morning. Good morning.
So please cancel that part. That was testing.
Testing.
So we're starting
now we're starting officially.
Okay. All right.
Good morning and welcome to the final work day of the week. Thank you for joining us all through the week on Breakfast Central. This morning, for the next 3 hours, we are going to continue with some of the stories we've been following all through the beginning of the week, as well as some latest developments. And in fact, when we kick off Wake Up Conversations, we're bringing you what some will consider good news for tenants in Lagos. I am Olive MOD, and you're welcome to the show.
And I'm Benga Borough. Today is Casual Friday. That's why we don't have our ties. We it's the last day of the work week. We kind of let our hair down, even though, I mean, my metaphorical hair. I wish I had dreadlocks like them Jamaican guys. I in Zion.
You had dreadlocks like
if I
Lakumi.
come back to this world, yes, I will have dreadlocks like Lakumi.
It's not too late. You can start.
Nah, it's not for formal TV. If I was doing entertainment like Sam Dandy,
or Labaika.
yeah, or
But you can break the jinx. The first actual news. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it.
and I think
the world is moved.
Our MD is very cool, and I think as long as it's well packed and it's neat, I don't think you have.
I mean, there are many anchors abroad who.
But
that's what
it's
they wear that regularly.
And if you go to
I
Jamaica, I'm
remember
sure the
the
news
famous,
anchors there would have
Jeff Koinange, the Kenyan guy, he used to be at CNN. He had dreads back in the day.
Yeah,
but
like that.
It's the whole process that is long. But let's forget about hairstyle for now. Let's talk about.
You also have to forget that because the Niger State governor might be watching.
It's true, but he has said they shouldn't do it. You know, it has a way of reversing.
No, that one was just.
But just be careful.
Governor.
Yeah,
I will not go to Niger State. So sit back, relax. We have a lot in store for you as always. I mean, this is the best breakfast television show the whole of West Africa. I mean, if I could stretch it and say Africa, but let's leave it at West Africa for now.
That's right. Yeah. Anyway, welcome to Breakfast Central as well. They've said it all, and we are ready and set for today. Don't forget, too, that Niger State is a beautiful state. Let me quickly mention that here, so people don't think that Nigeria as a whole is a beautiful country.
Absolutely.
Beautiful people,
There's a young
happy
guy,
people.
Tobe season on Instagram.
Yeah.
And what he's been doing, he's been touring northern Nigeria. He conveys it in the most hilarious way. I think it's ridiculously hilarious.
Okay.
He has a great sense of humor. However, as much as he's doing it hilariously, he's also showing and portraying the beauty that is in Nigeria. So many beautiful places. You're seeing, you're seeing that we have sand dunes. A number of us will run to Namibia or certain other countries to go to the sand dunes. I mean, I went to the sand dunes in Namibia, but we have that in Nigeria. You see the Yankari Game Reserve. You see the what's that place in Bauchi? The one that has like blue waters. Wiki Springs, Wiki Warm Springs. So there's so many beautiful places in Nigeria that I wish that a lot of us would explore more. And he's also sending a message to say it's not just about how beautiful it is. Yes, there are challenges with insecurity, but people are still plying these routes. So it's just like people saying, there are people who say, I won't come to Nigeria because they have insecurity challenges and they think it's really
the government
that bad.
should also harness the soft power we have created around the world through our music and Nollywood, because that's the driver for tourism. But when the tourists come, where do they go to? We need to find, more people need to get in that space to curate experiences for them. Beyond, they always scream Dirty December, but even you don't want to go to a club every day of the... It's beyond the parties.
I don't even do
so
such.
let's curate experiences for them, do more things that would make, sell packages You can take them to the dye pits in Abeokuta where they teach them how to do adire.
And the governor has also worked on the Olumo Rock as well.
Exactly.
The governor has rebranded the Olumo Rock, has made sure that...
And make, 2 years ago,
and create the infrastructure that when the tourists come, they will be very proud of what they see. I mean, these are low-hanging fruits that governments can tap on.
Well,
Lagos State, very quick to shout they made X, Y amount in debt December, but
you know what I always say? I always say that debt December has always been in existence for a long time. Lagos State just, let me say it again, in as much as they've said, oh, we made XYZ amount, but I just feel that Lagos State just realized it. It's always been there. It's always been there.
And I really hope that someday, I mean, the National Orientation Agency started something.
If you look at the entire, sorry to break it, if you look at the entire cost of money that Lagos State said they made compared to 2 years ago, money still were made that period.
Yeah, but so, you can see a growth pattern.
Absolutely.
So the truth is, I mean, there's a lot of work that needs to be done, and you've all made fantastic suggestions in terms of us investing in our infrastructure, ensuring that we guarantee safety, security, and also ensuring that we have, tourism. Now, one place that also provides an avenue for tourism, which unfortunately has been targeted, is the Olusegun Obasanjo Library. The Olusegun Obasanjo Library has been in the news in the most recent times because they've alleged that the EFCC targeted them, and now they've taken the EFCC to court. Now, just to give you a brief background, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has clarified that the Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library in Abeokuta, Ogun State, was not the target of its recent operation in which 93 suspected internet fraudsters were arrested. The management of the library has demanded a public apology, and they are demanding 3.5 billion naira in compensation, describing the operation as an invasion of private property and an infringement of the OOPL's rights as a corporate entity, as well as a stark and blatant violation of the rights of the people who gathered for the event. So,
I think that's the best way to go about things. If you feel you've been wronged, go to the courts to seek redress. And as a lawyer, how do lawyers calculate damages? Because how did they come up with that?
3.5 billion.
3.5 billion.
Well, we'll have to invite the Olusegun Obasanjo OPL Libraries lawyer to talk about this. But I brought it up.
Calculations to...
I'm sure there are ways they factor in damages.
Have you sued anybody before?
God, is that what we're talking about?
Okay, sue me. How much will you charge me?
Well, like 1,000 naira.
Okay, I can afford that.
But I bring this up because we talked about tourism and tourism opportunities. And I have been to the OOPL library. I think it's such a fantastic...
the entire complex.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a great...
I haven't been there.
I think you should. It's beautiful. You see a number of the things that former President Olusegun Obasanjo used for, his library. Used during his time as office. But anyway, let's move from...
But I like what the OOPL are doing. They're protecting their clients because the EFCC came to arrest them within their premises.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't, they will just overlook and say, you know what, so it's a good step they're taking.
A very good step in the right
EFCC
direction.
will have to review their operational
There must have been residents then. But anyway, talking about accommodation, housing, residence, whichever, I'm sure you're aware of the Lagos State laws, the new laws that Lagos State is pushing.
The new tenancy bill.
The new tenancy bill that would indeed protect, tenants from the shrouded, hiding, or you'd say callous, or in quotes, very suspicious charges that comes from agents, even the house owners as well. Because I always say agents cannot function if they don't connive with the owner of the property.
It's a collaboration.
I do realize that there's some people who have properties and they will tell you, oh, sorry, if agents come to them, say, no, I don't use agents. My number is there, talk to me directly. There are people like that. But there are a few. So what's it? Let's quickly tell you that Lagos State, they're trying to push this new tenancy bill.
Yes.
bill.
And it's pushed by Mr. Stephen Ogundikbe, who is a member of the House. And he says that the new tenancy bill of the House aims to protect tenants against exploitation by estate agents. Ogundikbe, who is the chairman, House Committee on Information, said this, and he said that they organized a public hearing on the bill, and the bill contains provisions designed to reduce financial burden on accommodation seekers in the state. Recall that here in Lagos, one of the biggest complaints we've had, people living in Lagos, is the real housing problems that we've had to experience, not just with the exorbitant costs of houses, the inavailability, and then we did have the Lagos State Commissioner of Housing, I believe, on the show.
Yeah.
and Commissioner of Works, I believe.
Commissioner of Works, yeah.
And then he joined us on the show to talk about how the truth is it's a challenge for them as well, because Lagos State is really that mega city that everybody wants to keep coming to. The numbers are increasing. So, of course, I'll give you an example. There's a property that I know that's not far from mine, which is supposed to be small. The person had just moved out, and they said to me, in case you have anyone who needs to move in there, let us know. And I said, okay, how much is it? And they said 13 million. And I replied, Jesus, with a lot of
13 million.
And then the truth is, as much as you
13
complain...
million for 13 years? Or 13 million for what?
For a 3-bedroom apartment.
For a 3-bedroom apartment.
A year?
Yes, a year. Although they say it's because it was also slightly furnished. But that being said, the truth is, if A lives there saying, oh, I can't afford it, there's somebody waiting on the side to take over the property. So because the fact that, I mean, it would always, so far, it hasn't really favored the tenants.
because demand outweighs supply.
Right.
But is there a time when demand indeed will, I mean, everyone always says because the demand is high and that's why the prices go up. But I believe there will be a time where houses like that, you would have people who are coming for it, the numbers would actually reduce because...
You know, I mean, Nigeria defies the law of real estate because we are not a credit-based economy.
We're not.
It was in the United States, for example,
exactly.
where people have mortgages and all of that. You'd understand why there's a uniform price and why you can't leave houses empty. But because somebody's investment, he builds everything with this cash, wasn't on credit. So if nobody's going to take it up at the price he wants, he would rather just leave it lying fallow. And there are lots of empty apartments that. Luxury apartments everywhere in every part of the state. So
I like the fact that they're saying that agents should start taking...
So it's only the government that can break that jinx
by building
mass, more.
But the truth is, what's the impact of this bill? I mean, I would say it's a step in the right direction. You know why? No, let me explain to you. The amount that the discount they're doing, how substantial is it? And I'm going to give practical examples because what the bill is proposing is that the agency fee will reduce from 10% to 5%. Typically in Lagos, for those who do not know, when you pay your rent, you're paying tenancy agreement, you're paying agency fees. The tenancy agreement is typically 10%, agency fees 10%, and then you're paying caution, and then you're paying the service charge for serviced apartments. Now, imagine that you have a house for, let me say, 10 million, which is ridiculous. 10 million naira. So you're going to pay the agent 100,000 naira. All right? Wait, sorry, 1 million.
No, 1 million naira.
Hey, my goodness. So you're going to pay the agent 1 million naira.
Yeah.
You're going to pay the lawyer 1 million naira. And then you pay whatever caution or service charge. By the time you're done, you're paying 15 million or more. So what they're saying now is instead of paying 1 million naira to the agent, you're paying 500,000. If you bring it down to a house that is, say, 2 million naira for a year, what you would typically pay would be 200,000 naira.
But you only pay that when you're moving into a house for the first time. If you're...
Yes, for the first time.
Yes. Of course.
And some people have detected some form of a scam wherein typically you're not allowed to increase rent before the 2-year mark. So somebody moves in, they live in your house for 2 years, they pay the agency fee. After the 2 years, you drastically increase it in a way that they cannot measure up. So they move out, you get another person.
And then
meaning that
you keep doing that, which has been the strategy. You keep doing that, you take them out, bring a new one.
They could argue, in fairness to the landlords, just look at the cost of living in the last 2 years. The dollar exchange rate, the price of fuel, things aren't the same. So, and they're still part of the same economy. So
yeah, but I think
not exponential.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was to increase it, I'll tag it to petrol and, I mean, just look at the inflation rate.
But is it a service charge apartment? Some of these apartments that we're also talking about, they're not service charge. They're just apartments that you just plug and play, just come in, not plug and play, I beg your pardon. Just move in, bring your things in and so on. You take care of your light, your power and so on and so forth.
There's service in some way.
It's self-service.
Waste disposal,
you must still pay some measure of service.
It's still service.
Yeah, but then again, so this is what I'm saying. If you move into a 3-bedroom apartment that possibly was going for, let's say, 4 million naira, okay? It's not service apartment. It's not a service apartment. It's a self-service. So you provide your generator, your own light, every single thing and so on. Landlord is taking care of the property. People come to clean it, waste disposal,
all those other ones,
and so on and so forth. Yeah, I get. So if the service is, say, maybe 150, okay?
Or 300.
Let's 300.
You'll be surprised.
If you have, okay, that's fine, whatever it is, let's say 300. But then again, all of a sudden, you say, okay, the economy is bad, and so on and so forth. You take the service to 600, take the property to 7 million. My question really is, I understand that you're in it for business. But the tenant who is living there, is the economy too not affecting him?
Yeah, but like Olive said, there are other people that are willing to pay. So, it's just
for me, it's mind-boggling. If you want to review your prices, it's okay to say, okay, you know what? I was taking 4 million, things are a bit tough, I'm going to make it to 4.5 or 4.3. And you take it like that, but not just from 4 to 10.
They have sociological and psychological effects. Like, for example, I was planning to expand the size of my family. I need a 9-bedroom apartment, but what you guys are saying now, I don't think I have to do family planning.
Well,
relax.
For a number of people that are still single, this is why they are not married, because like, by the time you marry, how much is
Do you know where I can get a 9-bedroom apartment?
I'll think about that.
Talk to your agent.
But I want us to also speak about there's a project that the federal government is working on. I think it's called MREF, to ensure that there is people have access to mortgage. And I'm hoping that on Monday we can reach out to someone who can come and break it down to us, so you understand if you can be a part of it.
It's a fantastic initiative.
Yeah, so it will be great to. I know it's
let's hope
by
it works.
Mofi, the Ministry of Finance arm.
Yeah, let's hope it works, because there's also the renewed Hope Homes. Still under the whole
ones
project.
that are promised to Falconet.
Exactly. I don't know if we've seen any property projects, land being shown.
I think it's in the works.
Yes, it's in the works, but let's see the process. That's why I said let's wait. One thing about the federal government that I'm aware of, at least to a certain degree, is the fact that during the Goodluck Ebele Jonathan's administration, he also did the home thing where everybody was to own a home and so on. I remember I applied like how many times and nothing. And then there's also a hidden case of, sometimes when the properties are ready, it's given to a certain few, people who know who. It's not thrown out there to the public. So maybe. I'm never too excited when I hear these things, because I mean, you just have to wait.
That's a past. Things are changing. Like, for example, yesterday, the credit call initiated, that was initiated by this administration. It's going far. People have access to credit, small loans, and it's federal government driven. And it's not one of those things they hide. They were at the orientation camp in Yanopaja yesterday for a roadshow, and it's exciting. So I know there's a trust deficit between the people and the government,
of course.
You have to give them the benefit of doubt. And also, we need to learn to move past that, doubt everything. But again, the government gives people reasons for doubting. For example, that Third Mainland Bridge.
Thank you for bringing up Third Mainland Bridge.
It's exponential.
Okay.
I mean, even if IBB that beauty, if he hears that money, he'll say, "Chai,
what's going on?
What's going on?"
So this is it. In case you've not heard, we're away from the tenancy conversation. Now we're going on the Third Mainland Bridge. There's a certain amount that has been proposed to carry out repairs on the Third Mainland Bridge, which will amount to over 3.something trillion naira. This came as a result of the fact that the Minister of Works did put out a press release. There was a video where he spoke, and in that video he said that these repairs need to be carried out, basically maintenance. And you would wonder ordinarily that the Third Mainland Bridge was just fixed not quite long ago.
Yeah, the surface, medians, street lights, and expansion joints.
All right.
But what is happening now is Mami Waters.
So just to mention what he's saying exactly,
Yeah.
underwater assessments conducted in 2013 and 2019 on both Carter and Third Mainland bridges revealed significant substructure deterioration caused by illegal sand mining, erosion and corrosion of piles and pliers. But I think the concern here is the amount of money that we've spent so far in renovating the Third Mainland Bridge. We'll come to the renovation part.
And why Lagos? Is Lagos the only state in Nigeria?
Well, because Third Mainland Bridge
Lagos is the commercial nerve.
Center.
So, of course, Lagos needs to be paid attention to,
I was trying to look at some of the routine repairs that had happened, and I was seeing here that there's 15.6 billion naira over 6 years for routine repairs, including surface maintenance, addressing, a number of things. There's also 6.28 billion naira approved in 2023 for surface maintenance, over 21 billion naira that was comprehensive rehabilitation in late 2023. So you're seeing a lot of these billions.
I mean, it's the second longest bridge in Africa.
Yes,
it would be nice to also follow up and see what the Egyptians are doing. The longest bridge is called the 10th of October bridge. I don't know if it's over water, but I mean, it's a responsible government who won't wait for disaster to happen until, I mean, imagine if the bridge caves in, God forbid, and they will say, oh, the government wasn't responsible, the Ministry of Works and Housing wasn't responsible to do regular inspections and all of this. So I understand the 3 trillion. I mean, 3 trillion can build you I want to know the cost of the proposed 4th mainland bridge. It can build you a new bridge, I believe. So it's just mind-boggling.
So my concern with this is exactly the amount and the fact that it feels like what we've had are piecemeal repairs of the bridges in the past years since the establishment or the building of this bridge. And it gives a fix when broken approach that's supposed to doing something that lasts for the longest time. Every time they have to fix the bridge, business is literally a shutdown. There's traffic, congestion, it impacts the lifeline of business in Lagos.
And the economy.
The economy of Lagos. So one, do we have public records of what we've achieved with the last repairs? And why do we have to keep going over and over this? Is there a possibility or is there a way in which we can do repairs that can be more permanent? So we don't have to do like 2 repairs a year?
In fairness to Engineer Dave Umahi, he did a fantastic job on the surface. And from my experience, we're on the bridge almost every other day. It looks like it's going to last for a long time. Yeah. And then the street lights they're using renewable energy. It's solar, it's bright, it's nice. The markings are clear. But that's the surface. We need to know what's going on there. And then those sand miners, come on. You knew, as a critical national asset, you know activities of dredgers and sand miners can compromise the integrity of the bridge. Why don't you have marine police stop them all these years? Why do you wait for them to cause irreparable damage before you do something?
So that again goes back to what I say, we're not being proactive. It feels like it's a fix when it's broken strategy. Even with times when they have to do a lot of fixings, it's when they've seen cracks, when we start to see potholes, when we see that there are actually challenges. Why can't we have more permanent solutions?
Instead of cosmetic.
Instead of having, exactly, it feels like we're doing makeup over some very deep problems. Let's fix it once and for all, so we don't have to keep revisiting the 3rd mainland bridge, Qatar Bridge, every six months.
It feels like we're doing makeup.
Yes, it feels like
makeup. Let's also hope that when this is done, because as it stands, there's nothing Nigerians can really do. But when this is done, they will not come back again 3 years later.
That's the challenge.
And it will still be on the proposal or list. And then there should be a thorough, you see, my worry with all of these monies that are being used to fix these critical assets is the fact that there are also critical conditions or situations that are not being attended to. I'm still going to mention the doctors, the nurses, the police, the humans, and so on. They're not attended. They're not being attended to because those are also critical issues. But then again, let's see reactions to especially what Nigerians are saying concerning the bridge. Let's see what they are indeed mentioning very quickly. If we have those tweets,
I believe we have a tweet on X about this. Yes. But, just as a way to wrap up this conversation, the talk about the 3rd mainland bridge raises critical questions. Who is giving, do we have accountability for the monies that have been spent on the bridge? And then do we also have, a way to track this? Is this cosmetic approach? Are we fixing, do we have more permanent solutions? Are we going to revisit this conversation again? Over 100,000 cars ply that road every day. Nigerians, Lagosians are very largely dependent on that road. It's a commercial nerve center connecting the island to the mainland. And if that bridge has to shut down, it will impact businesses. So again, that's a lot of money. And we're hoping that we get some clarity, transparency. And in fact, even with the bidding process, for the contractors who handle this.
Dave Umahi did mention that the bidding process will be open.
Yeah.
So we'll see some transparency there.
All right.
And maybe when they bid, that price can come down. And how did they even come about the 3 trillion in the first place?
Well,
if the
contractor has not even looked at it
and if not bid,
and checked and they've not
done any bidding yet. So
sometimes
these are questions that are begging for
answers.
That
sometimes I just wake up and while we're coming to do this show, I ask myself, why are we saying what?
All right, let's take the reaction. I believe we have one reaction to this that we're taking this morning. And if our producers can please put up the reaction. Same 3rd mainland bridge that was renovated twice during Buhari's 8-year regime that cost the nation multi-million naira.
Exactly.
The same bridge that will still go Nigeria 3.6 trillion to renovate. These politicians should fear God. That's all that we have regarding this. And again, we just want to ask you, go on social media and share us share your thought process with us about the third mainland bridge and the announcement regarding the possible
renovation. One of the
renovation.
reasons because why it's so expensive is you need to look for underwater engineers, scuba diving that will be welding and drilling, and they're very expensive. Even you as a lawyer, you can't swim. You are not a marine lawyer. So imagine the cost of a marine engineer. And there are other dangers of doing the work. Imagine you repairing, welding, and hippopotamus to just say hi, olive, or crocodile.
This man.
So these are some of the
Anyway,
issues.
but please let's know your thoughts about the stories. You can tweet at us, or you can go on YouTube and drop a comment in our live stream. But now let's bring you an update regarding the Falcons. Remember, we celebrated them a few days ago. They made us proud. They were celebrated lavishly in the government house, given 150 million naira each, or do I say $100,000 each. They were also given the titles of OON and given flats. And that also garnered a lot of reactions. Some were applauding this and others were wondering what's happening to those at the background. Well, one of the players has spoken about not having received the money yet. Let's take a look.
All the promises you heard back and forth,
yes,
you have not received anything. So let them know, because they people want to like
they're very divided for you.
Honestly, like share, even percentage and everything. I'm like, hey bros, people are begging. We've not received it, but hopefully when they pay it, you would see.
It on the news.
You see, I mean, even our match bonuses and everything's still work in progress. So we've not received it.
In the words of the Benin boy called Rema, my message to Rashidat Ajibade is, baby, calm down. Because what's going on? How many weeks ago, even doctors gave 21 days warning strike. They've not received their money. You are talking about, please calm down. You know how things work in this country. We have priorities.
Well, it's also good. I like the fact that she said it. Benga is good. She came out.
You know why she's saying? You know why I think she's saying
She said
this?
people want to choke
Because
her.
village people want to choke her. Everybody now. Imagine what her DMs will look like.
Okay,
The aunt will call. The uncle will call.
Help me, you know your brother.
I saw
money. She has a.
So let her clear herself on air. That's the best way to do it.
It's very important.
It's not that she's calling the bluff of the federal government. She just has to save herself so that she can walk freely and greet auntie. And auntie won't say, I've not seen my shell here. So from this video now,
what they
will understand.
That's what I wanted to say. That I pity people like this who get public money. Because how do you then explain to people? Everybody feels like that they have a right and they're entitled. Uncles and aunties,
I'll put 10 million aside. Anybody,
it's too small.
100,000.
You don't know people
100K. 100K.
You don't know how entitled Nigerians are.
20.
Someone said you are in UK. I told you I wanted to get married. You are sending me 20K. Now, what kind of insult is that?
Okay, let's get reactions to this. Of course, Nigerians will always never miss an opportunity to share their thoughts. Senator Shehu Sani says, reading that the Falcons are yet to receive the $100,000 is shocking. I urge the federal government to fast-track and redeem the pledge made to the Falcons and the Tigress. Waiting for money is mentally stressful.
Waiting for money.
That last line is not a lie.
Send your details.
I was waiting for the sports ministry officials to surprise me by doing the needful. Of course, like the leopard that never changes its spots or an old monkey that can't be taught a new trick. They are back to their forte. Unfortunately for them, this time they will be dragged to hell.
I think it's too early.
It's too early now.
Too early.
This one says, anyone who is fully aware of the nature of the Tinubu junta knows the money will not be paid within his tenure. They used the ladies' achievements to show up their collapsed junta image. No, we don't believe this one. Bombastic side eye. The funds has been disbursed already, but it probably didn't get to the girls.
Kind of talk is
The funds are probably with those who advise to pledge such amounts to the girls. President Amunike has done it again, but this time around, no, it is. For those who don't understand, there's a reference, a skit, say President Amunike who makes promises and never fulfills. We all know it's audio money. Let me explain. $1 million was given as prize money for winning the competition. We have 24 players minus coaches and officials. If you multiply $100,000 by 24, that is $2.4 million for players only. So where would they get the money to give coaches plus NFF officials? So you all think Niger government will take from government account to add up Abi? They play. And that's all the reaction that we're taking this morning. Let us know what your thoughts are on X. And we're streaming live on YouTube. You can drop a chat in the chat box to let us know what you think. You think the government was giving them audio promises and that maybe these promises will not be fulfilled in the Tinubu administration?
Give them that money after they've paid all the pensioners, all the teachers, all the doctors. Yes, And then once we settled everything.
If you ask me, I will go with this your statement. I agree. Yes. Settle teachers, doctors, pensioners.
Why did you make that kind of call?
Was that the one that made the promise?
Settle the ones that have been there since.
Priority.
Priority, settle them. So then come out and say, oh, doctors, let's see the doctors say, we want to thank you very much, President and the minister for this. Then let's see pensioners saying, hey, they don't pay us. So. And then let's see, because this is what keeps the economy and society moving.
Exactly.
NLC wants to strike.
Right. Anyway.
So my message to Rashida Ajibade.
Relax. Baby, calm down.
Baby, calm down.
Aziza Toshola, Agbabola, and all of them. Baby, calm down.
Maybe I use and take whole body. Yes. Go and edit your body.
At least wait for 1 calendar year first. After all, there are pensioners that they be owing for more than 1 year.
No.
This one's actually work hard.
Patient dog, they say it's the fattest bone, but these days, patient dog, no, they see any bone.
Atlanta 96. How long did they wait?
So many years.
Let's move on from sports.
Last year,
many of them even died.
Another story, and it's really unfortunate that we're ending wake-up conversations on some form of a sad note. Now, popular reality TV show winner Fina has gone on a rant on social media detailing an account of what she said has been a wrongful treatment of her sister. She alleges that her sister was crushed by a Dangote truck that had then attempted to escape until people chased down the truck, caught the truck, and she also complained about the manner in which she and her family were treated, saying that she never wanted to bring it to social media, but that they were not responding. And she said she was going to drag them to filth, and that if that was the last thing that she was going to do. Now, the name of the sister is Miss Ruth Otabo, who unfortunately has lost one leg, it seems, and might be losing the other leg. Let's take a look at this video and share the details of the story with you when we come back.
Because I go sit down, I'll say no. My sister is in school. I have sisters in school. I don't do baby girl lifestyle. People think I have a lot of reason because I go sit down. I know where I'm coming from. I've been hustling all my life. I've been struggling all my life. My younger ones, I finished from school. I saw myself through school. I made sure my younger ones went to school. My sister can't graduate. Dangote trailer, crush him. He continue in journey. Like say in jam goats. If you miss a Dangote trailer, don't they keep people before? Dangote don't buy markets. That's what me I have to say. Because I don't know what that manager is doing at the court instead of the hospital. My sister's leg right now, the other leg, we are currently deciding what to do because Dangote, my sister has been damaged for life. And I cannot carry it alone. I was already happy that my sister, the last person, is done. And now I'll have time for myself. I was already saying I'll finally have time for myself. I'll finally use my money.
That's the most heart-wrenching video to watch this morning. There are many other videos. If you go online, she's been going on Instagram Live detailing her account of the story, saying that instead of them to go and visit her and her family, visit the girl in the hospital, that they went to the court, they went to the police, and she's like, what exactly were you looking for at the police station? Instead of going to the hospital first to see the person who your driver had put in this very sorry state. In one of the videos, she said the sister's leg was cut from the pelvic, from the pelvic region down, right? And it was, imagine somebody, she had just graduated. They called them back to school to come and do something. I can't remember what she said it was. She was on her way back from the thing they went to do in school a few days after. It was on her way back that she was crushed. She's in a critical condition. The bike man that was carrying her is in a critical condition. After all of this, of course, people started lending their voice and calling out the Dangote company. And then Dangote put out a statement. They put a press release. And if we can please put up the photo of the press release, it says, following the recent road accident in Auchi, Edo State, involving one of our trucks, which sadly resulted in injury to Mrs. Ruth Otabo, senior officials from Dangote Cement PLC, together with our insurance team, promptly visited the scene, engaged with law enforcement authorities, and visited the victim and her family at Irua Special Teaching Hospital, Edo State. This action reflects our unwavering commitment to the well-being of those affected. We are ensuring full support for Mrs. Otabo, including comprehensive medical care and appropriate compensation in line with Dangote Group's welfare policy. Our thoughts remain with Mrs. Ruth Otabo and her loved ones, and we wish her a full and speedy recovery. What kind of full recovery will bring back her leg? What kind of speedy recovery?
There's no mention of driver training. There's no sense of responsibility.
It's not even that. That press release was void of empathy. Whoever wrote that press release did such a terrible job. It was very lacking in empathy. It felt like this press release is a way for us to polish the reputation of the company.
We're PR professionals.
It didn't show any empathy to say, first of all, we're deeply sorry and saddened by this situation where our driver had done this. We take responsibility for this. We know that no amount of compensation will ever be able to make up, but we will try the best that we can.
That's too
because
mechanical.
There's no amount that thing looks like what it just felt like they're really just trying to do damage control, and that even damaged the reputation of the brand even further. I think that a lot of people need to invest more in people who understand how to do press releases that connect when you've done something wrong. It's not saying, oh, we went to visit. And even worse, they took pictures and they posted on X. We can't share the pictures because Fina, who was, the reality star, was upset and saying, who gave you the right to carry your people, go and take pictures of the hospital, my sister, and post on social media? What kind of PR punishing is that?
As a lawyer now, that also opens a door for Dangote to be sued as well for carrying out actions without getting the express permission of the families. Mm-hmm. The family hasn't gone as far as putting all the footage and everything out like that. But, just as we wrap up, let's also mention that while we appreciate what Dangote is doing, and let me also mention, because we're talking about Dangote, doesn't mean that we're talking about the man we know as Aliko Dangote, because he's just the owner of the company.
Yes, he's not the one that,
but he's not the one. But people that work, and let me use this medium to state categorically, I think we're going to start it from Monday with what has happened, Olive. Please, Dangote and Dangote truck drivers, they need to have a checkup. They need to have mental evaluation checkup. Have you seen the way they drive on Lekki Road?
Far too many.
Have you seen the way they drive? Lord have mercy. They drive as if they are. They drive as if they are small cars or Okadas, moving, honking their horn, abusing you, telling you leave the road, if not, we'll crush you. So hearing this story, I was like, while you're saying it, I said,
you just have to go through the newspapers, do a Google search.
You will see
truck accident.
Plenty of them.
Their experiences as well on X. This has led to a number of people sharing their own personal experiences of terrible driving by these drivers. These drivers need proper training. They need to be thoroughly trained. You can't just put a driver in a vehicle because they can move a car or a bus or a trailer does not necessarily make them a driver. There's an art to driving, understanding traffic signs, understanding that you're considering every other person on the road, which a number of these drivers don't have.
Small cars.
Yes, trucks.
10-ton trucks
vehicles that are weapons on their own, and so you need a different type of temperament.
Can wipe a whole family.
You need a different type of temperament to operate those.
These guys are
vehicles.
I think, Benga, like I said,
and these are the issues they should also address.
I said something. This is a platform we have. We can only advocate for change in our own little way.
Yes.
We don't have to wait for somebody. So on Breakfast Central, like we usually do, we will start again, maybe 5 days. Maybe we'll call out Dangote truck drivers, call out Dangote, the company itself, let them have a mental self-evaluation of their drivers because they drive so recklessly. If you think what we're saying are all lies, go online.
Go and check. It's not hard. Just search for Dangote
It's
truck.
horrible.
You would see a number of the responses. Just to say again, to those who are in charge of the PR handling this, you could have done better with the letter. And you still can't do better. Put out a letter that empathizes, that shows that you feel the pain of this woman. Because yes, you're covering medical expenses, you're compensating, but there is no measure of compensation that would ever bring back her leg. You've made her, someone who was working for 2 years, and you've changed the trajectory of her life because her leg has been amputated, and there's a possibility that the second one might be amputated. I hope it's not. Her life will never remain the same again. Our heart really does go out to Ruth Otabo, to Fina, to their family, and we hope that they find some measure of comfort because truly no compensation will ever do. Let's share with you the top stories that we're looking at this morning on Breakfast Central. This morning, Okonjo-Iweala hails President Tinubu on economic stability, calls for growth and leadership. NLC issues fresh 7-day strike notice over pension and SITF funds, and the strike will be looking into the details of that. Reactions trail National Assembly alleged monetization of proceedings that will interest you. Ahead of 2027 election, group urges Goodluck Jonathan to join 2027 presidential contest. We'll review the newspaper front pages and open the phone lines. Join us for all these and more.
A political group under the auspices to bring back our Goodluck has called on Nigeria's former president, Goodluck Jonathan, to contest the 2027 presidential elections, citing the need for experienced leadership to rescue the country from its current socio-economic and security challenges. The call was made during the group's Northeast Conference held in Borno State. News Central's Umaru Kirawa completes the report.
Individuals from across the region converged on Maiduguri, the Borno State capital, to advocate the growing movement, praising former President Goodluck Jonathan to re-enter the political arena and contest for president in 2027. Jonathan served as Nigeria's president between 2010 and 2015, but lost his 2015 re-election bid and handed over power to President Muhammadu Buhari of blessed memory.
Whether after the 4 years, either the power can go to South or not, what we believe is that when he comes back to the government, I believe he can set a precedence, he can have a mentorship, so that he can come up with somebody who can continue from where he stopped. But not the kind of leadership that we have now, that they don't have a listening ear. The corruption is very high, the kind of brain drain, most of our youth are going abroad, and they are killing them, arresting them. This is not Nigeria for us. The Nigeria for us is a Nigeria where we have a better society.
At this Northeast Conference organized by the Bring Back Our Good Luck, speakers recount Jonathan's achievements as pathway to ensure the return of Goodluck Jonathan to Aso Villa come 2027.
On behalf of Bring Back Our Good Luck, I call on all well-meaning Nigerians from north to south, east to west, to join hands in urging Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan GCFR to once again answer this call of history so that he can rescue Nigeria. Let us once again remember his immortal words. What he said is, my political ambition is not worth the blood of any Nigerian.
The group alleges that the current Tinubu-led administration signed some agreements with hidden clause to the detriment of Nigerian culture and costume.
Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, he defended that, but this government of today, of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, used some more agreement just for them to get loans from their proxies in abroad.
1 million march is what the group is said to have planned at the end of its nationwide advocacy and mobilization for Jonathan's candidacy. In Maiduguri for News Central, Umaru Kirawa.
And of course, the move to bring back our good luck. That is what they're called. They've been advocating for the return of President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. Recall that in the past few days, there have been statements that had assumed, that they've put the matter to rest. I think it was just yesterday or 2 days ago, we talked about them putting to rest the possibility of President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan emerging as the People's Democratic Party's official candidate for the 2027 elections. Those who argue for him would raise several points as to the fact that he was the first sitting president to do a peaceful transition to another president, even though he couldn't do his second term. They will talk about the fact that he's been a statesman. He's been an international statesman, leading causes for peace campaigns, that he hasn't just reclined himself into the background. Even after leaving office, he's become known for championing some of the envoys, different parts of the country. So he's been a very, very involved elder statesman, not just in Nigeria, in the continent and also outside the continent. They would also talk about the fact that he represents zoning. For those who have been arguing that it's still the turn of the South to rule the country, they would argue that he presents a very strong picture of what the balance would look like, and he has a very strong chance, especially because he's walked this path before. But then those would argue against it and would say the fact that, he's done this thing before.
We're recycling.
We're recycling. Don't we have, are there not other people who will come with fresh ideas? He's done this before. How much more impact did he have when he did this first time? His administration was also flawed with security challenges. Boko Haram became very popular during
corruption,
his administration. Lots of funds that could not be accounted for. So there will be the argument for, the argument
against.
But
do you think he owes Nigeria a duty to clear the air so we stop speculating?
Exactly.
Say, look, I, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, I appreciate the love and blood. I have no interest in this. Because, even his silence could send a message, because it leaves room for speculation.
Absolutely. I think the fact that he hasn't said anything about it might imply that there is work there are talks happening behind the scenes. Like they say, no fire without a smoke.
Exactly. If former President Obasanjo didn't do 2 terms, there will probably be a please bring back Olusegun Obasanjo. We have a way of not thinking that, it's either a messiah or former politician. If you look at the opposition, they've been there, done that. So we need fresh blood in our politics. Because if you leave it to them, they might even go as far as bring back Nnamdi Azikiwe.
Wow. And another thing would be then, what is the place of the statement made by the First Lady when she said sometime in the first quarter of the year that they would not be running, saying that she throws the weight of her support.
First Lady.
Yes, the wife of President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan.
She was not the president.
Well, Patience Jonathan.
Have some patience. She's not the president.
You know how they say that usually behind the scenes, if the man says one thing, don't worry. The madam behind the
is
scenes
the
will
real
tell
power
you.
behind. Yeah.
But she said that when they were governors, when they were deputy governors in Bayelsa State, when they became governor, that they had the support of Oluremi Tinubu and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that they had the support of them. And even when they were running for office, they had the support for them.
While both of you are talking,
one good turn deserves another.
There is one key problem.
Which is?
That a few persons are highlighting. Should the former president choose to run, one of the major challenges would be that what will happen to Mr. Peter Gregory Obi? That's one, in case he wants to go back to the PDP. So there are lots of...
That's also a huge factor.
There's some things that are not aligning, whether you like it or not. By the way, we were supposed to speak to the self-conferred, as many have called him, national chairman of the ADC. What we've also noticed is that if they're watching now, we've tried talking to a few of them, the key members, and we've seen that there's this thing about running away from the press. And we're wondering, why are you running away from the press when you would hold a press conference? And when it's time to come on the TV to speak with us, you all of a sudden go cold after you agree. So we're also going to throw out the invitation, So there's a lot going on. I think we're about to see a political football at its best, if you want to put it that way.
If I could make a prediction, I would say he wouldn't contest.
Well, Mokoye Chukwuemeka sort of shares similar sentiment on YouTube. He drops a comment saying, Jonathan... Okonjo Chukwuemeka on YouTube says, Jonathan and his wife should sit this one out. A fan of his politically before the 2015 election, but not anymore. Man should have cancelled that 2015 election. Then he goes further to say, exactly, Benga, let Jonathan sit this one out. Let us know what you think. Do you think that the movement to bring back former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan is a movement that holds water and should be championed?
And that name, bring back Goodluck Jonathan.
I feel that is also very insensitive. It's insensitive.
Knowing what happened
the context
to the
of bring back our girls.
Some of them have still not been returned.
And you know what's the irony? The bring back our girls happened under President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. So I don't know who advised them to choose that name. They could have chosen any name in the world. They wanted to sound cool, but that made them sound insensitive.
We're not the political campaign strategists. Let them do their job.
I know, but we have to figure it out.
I know, I get your point, but what you just did here is to give them honest feedback.
Imagine Leah Sharibu's mother hearing "Bring Back Our Good Luck." The same person who was present when her daughter was kidnapped. How does she take that?
I think it's possibly just trying to ride on the hashtag. Maybe they sat down in the room and
said,
you know what, if we ride on this hashtag,
but it's emotionally insensitive.
It's popular. That's another thing. That's another challenge.
Anyway, let's move away from politics to talk about something else. Well, some people will still call it political, but this time is with the NLC. The Nigeria Labour Congress has issued a 7-day ultimatum to the federal government over alleged diversion of pension and NSITF funds. The NLC accuses the government of illegally diverting 40% of workers' contributions from the Nigeria Social Insurance Trust Fund into national coffers scaling, calling it calling it a flagrant violation of the law.
They also demand the immediate constitution of the PENCOM board, which has been left vacant, creating what they describe as a governance vacuum. This isn't just about numbers, it's about trust, transparency, and the future of Nigerian workers. So today we ask, who's safeguarding the sweat of Nigerian workers?
Yeah, that's a major conversation. We're supposed to have a guest to join us from the Nigeria Labour Congress, but as it stands, we're still unable to connect. Hopefully we will in the course of the show and then speak to us. We do have Comrade Agnes Fumi Sesi. She's the Lagos NLC chairperson. Hopefully she can connect with us. And if she does, we'll have this conversation. But then again, just bear in mind that the Nigeria Labour Congress has issued a 7-day ultimatum over pension NSITF funds diversion. And the 7 days, of course, starts today. We'll wait to see if this will be taken seriously. And I use the word seriously with, of course, inverted commas. Reason is because of recent, as we've seen, started from last year, most or few Nigerians have downplayed the NLC's rhetorics of going on a strike because they seem to see it as something that doesn't hold water or it's less impactful. Benga, that's what they've seen.
Yeah,
that's what we've seen as well.
But it's good that, I mean, NLC is championing the cause of workers. They need to be paid. They've put in so much, and it's only right that they pay their pensions. And in the past, you only see NLCs come out when there's an increase in petrol price and issues of like that. So,
but this is a very strong allegation, really strong allegation, accusing them of diverting 40% of the pension of their funds. They're very strong allegations, and we hope that we get some clarification from the government, and we know what the next steps are. Also, again, because in the past few months, a number of people have wondered the impact and the influence of the NLC. Back in the day, the NLC sneezes, government catches a cold. We don't know if this strike is going to result in, bring the result that they expect, and if it's going to...
I mean, even if it doesn't, the fact that this has been spotlighted and does deserve a response from the government, because like you said, it's a very serious allegation, and you don't play with people's futures. And I'm sure there will be some dispute resolution mechanisms before the end of the 7th day, because you don't want the economy to be shot with this NLC strike. And we also remember the NLC telecom hike issue.
Yeah.
So, like you said, it was in the past when from a comrade senator now, Adams Oshomole, and the likes, that when the NLC sneezes, the government will catch
not anymore.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's quickly move on and tell you that we do have more stories coming your way. But first, we'll go on a quick break. Breakfast Central continues in a moment. The next hour will definitely be loaded with a lot of conversations. But before we go on that break, let's tell you that the House of Representatives, a committee on NG Cares social intervention program, has commenced an investigation into the implementation of the $696 million Nigeria Community Action for Resilience and Economic Stimulus Program, a federal government social intervention initiative. Yes. Well, the chairman of the committee, Abubakar Kusada, while speaking to newsmen after the committee's meeting in Abuja, says that the probe became necessary following claims that many citizens have not, and let me stress that word again, have not benefited from the program despite the federal government meeting its funding and operational requirements from effective implementation. Well, he says that about $696 million, approximately 1.06 trillion naira, has been disbursed to Nigerians across the 36 states and the federal capital through various delivery platforms for social intervention, safety nets, and palliatives.
The program has been on in the last 10 years, but there is no committee oversighting them. There is no individual or organization that is charged with the responsibility of looking after what the program or what the program coordinating office is doing. Until the National Assembly now that they created this committee and they gave us the mandate to oversight this program. And having takes this responsibility, we collected data from the program coordinating office here in Abuja, and so far we realized that every state in Nigeria, including FCT Abuja, they collected billions of naira under this program.
This is a conversation we're going to follow very closely, because if such amount has been released and yet very few have indeed felt the impact of the social intervention program, then it calls for many questions. Well, let's bring to you a recap of what we talked about so far this hour as we gear up for the second hour here on Breakfast Central. A quick look at what we've touched on this first hour. Aside from the wake-up conversations, NLC issued 7-day strike notice. We'll still go into this story in between, but that's the update. Group calls for Goodluck Jonathan to join 2027 elections. They say bring back Goodluck Jonathan. Reps probe NG Cares program. Where is the money? 1-point-something trillion naira. How many people have benefited from it? Anyway, let's show you what's coming up next here on Breakfast Central. Coming up next, second hour, Okonjo-Iweala hails Tinubu on economic stability. The president, of course, welcomed her, and it was a very good conversation. Alleged monetization of NAS proceedings. It's an alleged story. We'll find out what it's all about. And mineral sector reforms. We do hear there's a lot happening. Stay with us.
Nigeria's federal government says stronger collaboration across all tiers of government and private stakeholders is key to ending illegal mining and maximizing Nigeria's mineral wealth. This was the consensus at a National Steel Summit in Abuja, where the Vice President, ministers and lawmakers outlined urgent steps to reform the sector. Our correspondent, Idong Joseph, has more on this report.
Nigeria's mining sector loses billions of naira annually to illegal activities, poor regulation, and lack of coordinated oversight. At this year's National Steel Summit in Abuja, Vice President Kashim Shettima made a strong call for unity of purpose from federal, state governments, and private sector players to end the leakages as he highlights the government's reform efforts.
In September 2024, we signed a memorandum of understanding with for Export TPE and its consortium. The objective is to rehabilitate and operate the Ajaokuta Steel Plant and the National Iron Ore Mining Company in Itakpe.
The Minister of Solid Minerals and his counterparts, the Minister of Steel Development, in their remarks, said the new approach will rely on transparent, technology-driven frameworks that track mineral operations from pits to ports.
These reforms are not just about mining. They are geared towards laying the industrial foundation for a fully integrated Nigerian steel industry. Government alone cannot rebuild this sector. We call on all investors and operators to take advantage of Nigeria's huge market size and resources, as well as the academia to innovate around the steel production technology.
To set and monitor quality standards for local and foreign steel products to curb structural failures and various building collapses that we have seen recently, and also to generate employment and promote technology transfer for Nigeria's economic development.
Lawmakers present pledged to review outdated mining laws, close policy gaps, and ensure host communities are full partners in the mining value chain.
I assure you of the Senate's unwavering support in advancing legislation that will enable growth, attract capital, safeguard investments, and empower Nigeria's entrepreneurs.
Stakeholders say Nigeria needs to turn its mineral wealth into sustainable national growth. They urge the government not to miss out on this golden opportunity. In Abuja for News Central, I am Idong Joseph.
We'll now turn our focus next to a story that's stirring outrage and raising questions, serious questions about the integrity of Nigeria's legislative process. Allegations have surfaced suggesting that proceedings in the National Assembly, yes, the very heart of our nation's democracy, may be influenced by financial incentives. In plain terms, monetization. This follows allegations by a member of the House of Representatives that lawmakers pay between 1 million and 3 million naira before being allowed to present motions, bills, or petitions during plenary.
The lawmaker Ibrahim Usman Ayo, who represents Hadeja Ayo and Kafin Hausa Federal Constituency, Jigawa State, claimed in a video that went viral on Thursday in which he spoke in Hausa. According to him, the process of getting items listed for consideration in the House is financially driven, contrary to the public perception that debates are guided solely by merit.
Well, the lawmaker denied claims that other lawmakers wrote motions based on their constituents' needs, but insisted that legislative processes at the National Assembly were financially driven. Now, while these claims remain unproven, the reactions have been swift and intense. Civil society groups, legal experts, and everyday Nigerian are demanding transparency and accountability regarding these allegations. So we're going to take a look at it. Possibility, is it true, or could it be another story that would need proper dissection? Well, joining us for this discussion is a lecturer, media strategist, public affairs analyst, Mr. Christopher Sunday. Thanks for being here and thanks for joining us.
Yeah, good morning. Thanks for having me.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, I'm sure that you have been following this conversation for a while. We do recall that a senior National Assembly official by name Ifeoma Ofili recently accused lawmakers of engaging in entrenched bribery, manipulation, public hearing reports, public hearing reports as well, and diverting staff entitlements. Now, in a viral video, Ofili alleged that legislators routinely collect bribes from ministries and agencies during oversight visits and often bypass procedural checks by hiring external consultants to falsify reports. But before you respond, let's take a look at the video, and we'd like to get your thoughts on it.
Mad because we talk, we don't do. I am mad because nobody listens. Our legislators are not here. We are talking to ourselves. Now we don't have the power to do nothing of all the things we talk about. We are talking about oversight. How do you account for the fact that the flight ticket to go and oversight somebody was paid for that person by the agency? What are you coming to write? You go there, they tell you what to write, they give you money, they quarter you, they give you flight, and the members will come and fight over the money that they give to them. They will not give the clerk. They will not give the committee assistants that they take with. But it's not even the fact that they didn't give the clerk. Now you are compelled to write a report of what you did not see, what did not happen, and you lie. Me as a Catholic, I will just go for confession first. Then secondly, financing a public hearing. We did a public hearing last year. And then the committee called me to tell me that...
Shocking, right? Anyway, before you respond to the questions we do have, Mr. Christopher Sunday, please bear with us. Let's quickly go for an ad break. When we come back, we'd like to get your thoughts. Welcome back. Let's go straight to our conversation with our guest, Mr. Christopher Sunday, who joins us. Well, we've given you the full context, and I'm sure many Nigerians are also eager to know what really is happening. Well, is the National Assembly still the hope for democratic representation in Nigeria, or do you think it has become a marketplace, especially for vested interest of a few?
Thank you, Mr. George. Thanks to all of you for having me. I'm sorry for the stress. Your question is actually a very dicey one. A dicey one because I'm standing in between speaking what I ought to say and what the general public or the politicians will love to hear, or of course their followers. But ideally, the National Assembly ought to be a place for shaping our democratic processes. Of course, the National Assembly is supposed to be an eagle to checkmate the executive arm of government. But in recent times, what we have seen juxtaposing the 11th Assembly and the 6th, 7th, and 8th Assembly, the Saraki Assembly, I am not trying to maybe look down on them. Of course, every assembly has her own strengths and limitations, of course. They are all human beings. But the truth of the matter is that collectively, it has to do with the hope of the common Nigerian. If, for instance, you are supposed to be the eye of the people, you are sent to represent your people, the mind of the people is what you ought to represent and not your own personal political interest. But going straight to your question, the truth of the matter is that with the happenings in the National Assembly, particularly the 11th Assembly, Nigerians are beginning to ask if truly they are being represented by the people they sent to represent them at the National Assembly. Yeah, the assembly is not supposed to be a marketplace. It's supposed to be a serious-minded place, a serious business chamber where issues of democratic principles, where issues that have to do with the life of Nigerians, the security of Nigerians, both those alive and those who are yet to be born, because Nigeria is more than those who are alive and those who are. It's about the process, about a country, a nation that is sovereign, and that the right of the people is enshrined in the constitution that this assembly is supposed to protect. But what we see in recent time, just like you say, like a marketplace, is like, give me, I give you. We are all in this party, or we are. There is not even opposition, no longer opposition in the National Assembly. You hear minority leader. What is in minority in there? In fact, the National Assembly, let's say the red chamber, for instance, it is in the hands of few out of the 109 of them. Only about 8 persons are having their say there. You know, so if you say, if your question has to do with personal interest, yes, the National Assembly already, we can call it a business area, not for any reason, but of course we have seen issues of allegations. Let us even say the allegation of Mrs. Ipioma of Philly on the 12th of July was false, or maybe she was trying to take on them. What about the man from Jigawa, Ibrahim Usman? He is one of them at the Green Chamber. What about the allegation of 8 million naira per university for them to be able to pass their budget for 2025? You see, yeah, I am not condemning them because I didn't investigate it, but nobody has come out to refute all those allegations. So it is like a business area for them, and that is why the executive arm of government seems to be controlling every aspect of the economy.
Now, interesting take so far, and I like the fact that you highlighted the sorts of allegations that have come out that is doing reputational damage to the sacred and hallowed chambers of the National Assembly. Do you think the National Assembly, through its spokesperson, or owes Nigerians a responsibility to, perhaps have a press conference to condemn or respond to these allegations? Because these are very, very serious allegations bordering on the integrity of the National Assembly as an institution, and of course our reputation as a country where you have cash and carry legislators.
The truth of the matter is that if the National Assembly is sincere to Nigerians, every allegation, be it false or true, ought to be subjected to external investigation. I expect that the issue of 8 million naira per university that was alleged, I expect that by now, and not setting a panel. See, what the National Assembly is doing is just laughable, in the sense that you were accused of doing something wrong. Instead of you to set an external investigation panel to look into this issue and come out with a result, allow this panel to give Nigerians their findings from the result, what they do is to set up a committee within themselves. It is ironically laughable, because I can't see anybody in the National Assembly, if these allegations were true, I can't see anybody in the National Assembly, by every standard of integrity, standing to tell Nigerians the truth, because it is involved their own colleague or colleagues, as the case may be. So, press conference or no press conference, setting up committee within the National Assembly is like asking somebody to be the judge of his own case. What do you expect? So if I steal something and you ask me, Christopher, come and tell us the truth about, or come and be the judge of this case, you think I will condemn myself? Even when you caught me red-handed. So yes, it is also good for them to come out clearly to explain to Nigerians. It is the word of the National Assembly or her member against the person who alleged. But it is also for justice and posterity, for integrity and for trust, for the National Assembly to subject herself to investigative panel, external investigative panel, so that Nigeria will have everything to trust them that, yes, these people are representing us sincerely. We are all from federal constituencies. We are all from senatorial district. Check, reflect. Is your own representative, your senator, are they doing what we send them to do? Even when there are issues at the National Assembly that needs deliberation, do they even go back to their constituency for them to sit to discuss? If I have issues to discuss with my House of Rep member, does he even pick calls? And when you write something against them, or not even against them, you try to be benevolent with your with respect, to tell them to make it mild so that they can respond to you. You see, recently I wrote to them, I said, Kogi State, the Kina Basa Federal Constituency, where I came from, it's not an IDP camp. So you don't bring 25 bags of rice for a whole community and you want them to share four cups and then two cubes of Maggi, and then you go on social media, you say that you are giving palliative. What do you mean by that, palliative? So the truth of the matter is that governance has been trivialized, not just by the 11th Assembly, but the decay of it. We started perceiving it from the 10th Assembly, where you see the executive and the legislative arm of government always frolicking on the bed.
All right. I mean, you raised a key point, talking about how the Assembly cannot be the one to investigate itself. And if we look at, one of the principles of natural justice, one of them would be that a party cannot be a judge in its own cause. But that is oftentimes, the practice that we see. If we go back to, for example, the case of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan and the Senate, and why the Senate had to be the one investigating claims was another issue that came up. But they would argue that that's why they have the Senate Ethics and Privileges Committee. So if you're saying that the National Assembly should not be the one to investigate these claims within itself, that first they should debunk, but then they shouldn't be the one to investigate these claims, and they should subject themselves to external investigation. What framework would need to be put in place for this to play out? And how do you see the possibility of this even happening?
You see, I am a philosopher, and by the virtue of my discipline, I think I can say I have little knowledge of law, even though I only studied law, just introduction to law those days growing up in the Polytechnic before going to the university. We were taught that where a bylaw or any other law contradicts the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that bylaw automatically becomes repugnant to justice. So what do you call rules? Is the National Assembly rules more than the Constitution of the Federal Republic? Is the Constitution not the supreme again? See, let me tell you something. We must be careful not to allow these people to set Nigeria in a political finance, because the way it is going, it is becoming clear that they don't even give a damn. For them, they have the security, they have the money, and they have the power to do whatever they want to do. I actually don't want to mention the case of Senator Natasha Uduaghan, because I am from Kogi State, from Kogi East. On 2-3 occasions now, I have, as a panelist in 1 or 2 programs in Lokoja, I have actually brought this case and I said, yes, I am not saying Natasha has done well. She has done, she did well, or she handled her case with the Senate or the Senate President well. But why? Okay, their own rule, even their own rule. Don't forget the case of who is the man from Borno State? Ndume, Ali Ndume. Ali Ndume, he was suspended, but he stood his ground and he was recalled. There is another senator again that was suspended. He was recalled. Their rules state that 14 days, you'll be suspended for 14 days. So if they are saying that they have rules to follow, tell me, why are they breaking it? So if they can break their rules, it means they can break the constitution of the Federal Republic.
Okay. Now, Mr. Joseph, we all know that the legislators are not covered by immunity and they are subject to the laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Having said that, do you think this allegations necessitate, is it necessary for the anti-graft agencies to step in and investigate? I'm talking of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, and the ICPC at this point in time. I mean, it seems if they're not going to investigate themselves, and some of these allegations are bordering on criminality.
Of course, we know that they are not covered by immunity. But the question we should ask is that, is the anti-graft agency actually working for this, for the reason why they were established? Tambuwa left office how many years ago? 2 years ago? Yeah, more than 2 years ago. Only for them to pick him just 3 days ago or 4 days ago, and then he was released. If you have this allegation, even though we understand that you must investigate thoroughly. See, let me tell you, in America, anything that will make any anti-graft agency or police to come to your door to knock or to invite you, bro, that you will be coming back or that you'll be free soon, my brother, you are not. It's not guaranteed, because they must have done their investigation to the latter. But here we have, okay, that is why opposition now is crying that this is what's it called, witch hunting. Yeah, if they say it's witch hunting, even though I feel anybody that does wrong, whether a position or not, the person should be picked. So, but going to your question straight, my brother, anybody, in fact, I expect first that the EFCC, if they are truly working, if not, they are party APC kind of thing that they are doing, the person that alleged first should be invited to come and give, because that program where he did this expose was done in Hausa language. When I'm sure maybe he was accused, from what I read 4 days ago or 2 days ago, he was accused of not doing what he was sent to go and do. The people wanted to get a feedback or for him to give them a scorecard of his representation. And so he, out of frustration, he opened up to tell them, this is what is happening. So the anti-graft agency ought to have called Ibrahim Usman by now. Come, you made these allegations. Tell us more about it. Give us evidence or evidences that, okay, this, I have these people. If you have it on record or paper, of course, bring it forward. Then bring these other persons. Now, it is not necessarily, we are not saying that he maybe he said the truth, but the truth of the matter is this, sir, that Nigerians need to trust their representatives. So if the anti-graft agency, ICPC, EFCC had invited him to come over to explain, probably by now, or those who are involved, if truly such thing happened, they will sit up, and then others will also sit up for this not to happen. Because, see, there are young people at the National Assembly. So if the elderly ones hand over this kind of character, this kind of attitude to them, it means those of us that may be at the National Assembly tomorrow will just come and see decay, and then we'll think that it is a normal process. So the anti-graft agency should swing into action. Call Mrs. Ifeoma of Philly, call Ibrahim Yunusa, call the people that allege about the 800 million per university bribe in January 16 or 12. Call them and ask them if there is any member of the National Assembly that is going against the anti-graft law of the Federal Republic, let the person cool off in the cell. This is unbecoming of a nation that supposedly is supposed to be the giant of Africa. Every day, every time, we are seeing aberration, and people are just making it look like it is the norm. Now you see, so even the youth now go on social media.
Mr.
People
Sunday,
are no longer saying things the way they ought to be. People are only saying
Mr.
things.
Sunday, I understand that your grievance towards the anti-graft agency is not just dependent on the fact that you want them to go and do what they have to do, which is they should have met with Mrs. Ofili since she made that allegation or those allegations, and then find out where and how it happened, of course, take action. But do you somewhat or somehow feel that the anti-graft agency in which you are equally calling on seem not to have done that yet? And many have said it's much more like it's a selective justice or selective approach towards curbing corruption. Do you now think that it's agreeable that the anti-graft agency is not going out fully to ensure that they stop this corruption, but rather they are selective in their choices?
Have you noticed the trend recently that the anti-graft agency goes more on Yahoo boys, more than politicians? Mrs. Ifeoma made this allegation a month, 4 days today. She made the allegation July 12th. Today is 18th, right? I think today is 18th. No. Today is 16th, right?
Yes.
Yes.
A month, 4 days.
15 it is. 15.
Now, 3 days. If she has been invited by the EFCC, by now we would have known, we would have heard. And the EFCC that I know, if they, of course, I don't even know their social media handler now. It seems the person is a comic reliever, the social media handler of the EFCC, because the kind of things he posts these days is like he's just playing with the mentality of Nigerians. So I expect if they are invited already, by now he would have dropped, giving Nigeria notice, trying to make it look like, okay, we are working. And again, if they are already invited Ibrahim Usman, or those who are alleged about the 8 million naira per university before signing, approving the 2025 budget, by now would have seen on their social media handle, at least their Facebook, but nothing of such. But of course, we cannot just say they are slow. It's possible they are doing their work on the ground.
Right.
But we hope in the coming days that EFCC, ICPC will come out to tell us what exactly is happening in the National Assembly, especially those that have to do with allegation of fraud, financial crimes.
All right. Mr. Christopher Sunday, thank you for your time with us this morning. We'll wait to see how this turns out. And like you've called on the anti-graft agencies to carry out their investigation. We'll see if they pick up on that cue and we get some sort of an explanation as well from the members of the Assembly. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. And now moving on to other conversations. The World Trade Organization Director General, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, has commended President Bola Tinubu for stabilizing Nigeria's economy, saying reforms are moving in the right direction. Speaking after a courtesy visit to the presidential villa on Thursday, the former finance minister stressed the need to prioritize economic growth and introduce social safety nets to cushion the impact of reforms on citizens.
With the help of the First Lady, we launched a Women Exporters Fund for the digital economy. This is a fund that is jointly managed by the WTO, the World Trade Organization, and the ITC, the International Trade Center in Geneva. And the idea is to help support the economy and support women to be able to weather the storms of the economy and be able to create jobs for themselves, for others. We had 67,000 Nigerian women who applied for this, and 146, can you imagine, 67,000, 146 won, and they are going to have money disbursed directly to them. 16 of them won what we call the booster track. Those who already have businesses, but their businesses will be scaled up, They will receive technical and business support for 18 months from the WTO and the ITC, and working with the ministry. So we think that the president and his team, and we just exchanged with him, have worked hard to stabilize the economy. And you cannot really improve an economy unless it's stable. So he has to be given the credit for the stability of the economy. So the reforms have been in the right direction. What is needed next is growth. We now need to grow the economy, and we need to put in social safety nets so that people who are feeling the pinch of the reforms can also have some support to be able to weather the hardship. So that's the next step. How do we build social safety net to help Nigerians cushion the hardship they're feeling? And then how do we grow the economy so we can create more jobs and put more money in people's pockets? These are issues that we discussed.
Very interesting. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, Nigeria's GDP grew by 3.13% in Q1 2025 compared to 2.27% in Q1 2024, buoyed by strong performances in the services and industry sectors. Meanwhile, data analysts say the Naira is in its longest stretch of stability since mid-June to early August, holding within a narrow band of 1,520 to 1,537 per dollar for almost 8 full weeks. Well, joining us to look into this development is a partner at SBM Intelligence, a research consultancy firm. We do have Mr. Ekemisit Effiong, who joins us live. Welcome, and good to see you this morning. First off, how excited are you that we do have one who was in power during the Goodluck Jonathan's time and currently is championing WTO, coming to Nigeria, her own country, to say, listen, despite the turbulences, your economy is now stabilized. Sounds like good news.
It does sound like good news, and thanks very much for having me. I don't know if excited is the exact term I would use to describe how I feel about it, but she is right. Nigeria has a much more stable economy, especially compared to the last 3 to 5 years, albeit this is stability at a higher price point for most Nigerians on practically every significant economic item that one could imagine we're making spending decisions on. But stability is still, the order of the day. The currency is doing much better than it has been at any point in time over the last half decade. Inflation is moderating somewhat. You're still seeing price rises, but the rate of price increases has also is also moderating as well. Fuel prices have also seen some measure of price stability, and we know that that's a key component in things like food production, things like transportation and logistics, and so that occupies an important part of the spending decision making of most Nigerian households. It has stabilized at a higher price point, but it's still stability, and more importantly, the availability of produce and the availability of fuel products is also largely assured right now. We've had the tax reform bills that have been passed into law. There's a new insurance act, for example, now, which is also supposed to help incentivize Nigerians to take out more insurance products. There's a new round of recapitalization going on in the financial sector for both banks as well as insurance firms. So a fair amount of work has gone into economic reform, right, and stability, and probably a lot of the hard work and a lot of the homework in terms of economic reform has already been front-loaded by the current administration. What now needs to happen is the execution in order to set us on a path towards growth. 3.13% GDP growth is okay, but it's not spectacular, especially when you compare that to the fact that every year something like 4 to 550,000 new Nigerians, right, are born, right? Our population growth rate is something like 2.7%. You really want economic growth to be significantly higher than population growth, so that that means that the net overall growth in the economy, right, is significant enough that Nigerians can begin to feel the effects of that. I think a lot of what we've seen now is statistically good, but the actual real world effect is less than desired, and that's where a lot of the work now needs to happen.
All right, you've talked about several factors that have maybe contributed to this economic stability that we're experiencing. I want us to talk a little bit about the Naira, and the reports have it that it's experiencing the most stable run in 2025, the band of 1,520 to 1,537 per dollar for almost 8 weeks. That's from like mid-June to early August. What would you say are the factors that have contributed to this? And, you know, usually when we hear good news like this, there's always a side eye that Nigerians are giving and speculating that this is just propaganda and it's not reason to be excited, maybe a trauma response. But what would you say are the factors that have led to this? And do you trust this stability? What are your projections for, you know, what this means and what this will mean in the coming weeks?
Okay, I think the key thing to recognize about currency stability is that the markets believe that the fair value of the Naira is around this particular price point. And you know, we've been saying that SBM Intelligence and a lot of other market commentators have been saying that we'd only achieve real price stability if the Central Bank of Nigeria, and by extension, other monetary other monetary policy makers allow the Naira find its fair value and not try to manage its value in a way that is politically convenient or politically expedient. What we've seen is that the CBN has largely held the ground in terms of intervening in the currency markets, right? In order to in effect put pressure on the Naira, right, to go down to a certain extent. And what's quite remarkable about this current period of price stability is that, you know, this is happening during the Northern Hemisphere summer periods, right, where demand for foreign currency for things like summer vacations, for things like lifestyle-induced imports is usually at its highest, right? And so that I think is a commentary, right, by the market to basically say we believe that the fair value of the Naira is around the 1,500 plus, right, price band. And because of that, you've seen a situation where the Naira has largely held its own. It's also worth noting that a fair amount of Naira demand on the corporate and commercial side has also been somewhat front-loaded. I know the CBN has been a lot more diligent in sort of helping to fulfill the demand for foreign currency for things like import inputs into manufacturing, agro processing, as well as other sectors that require a significant amount of foreign import inputs in order to drive their domestic manufacturing operations in the country. And then you also have a situation where other sources of foreign currency, other foreign currency sources are also coming on board and online, right, to the market. And so the CBN is not the sole it remains the primary, but it's not the sole source of foreign currency in the Nigerian market. And again, that's largely happening because trust in the currency has to a large extent being restored. Where does the Naira go from here? Well, if the CBN continues to basically allow the market determine the Naira's first value, we don't think that the value of the currency will stray far from where it is. It will still maintain this 5 to 7, 8 Naira price band, we think, at least over the rest of the year. The critical concern is that as we head into 2026, it's a pre-election year. That is usually a source of external pressure, right, on the national currency, for political reasons, and all of that. I think your last guest was talking about political induced corruption, or these allegations of politically induced corruption, and it's an open secret that in the Nigerian politics is greased down wheel, right, by money, some of which is foreign some of which is denominated in foreign currency. So the outlook for 2025 is largely stable. 2026 and the start of elections may usher in a new period of currency uncertainty in that regard. So fingers crossed.
All right. I mean, we've looked into the aspects of how the economy is indeed being bolstered. But let's also look at a very, somewhat critical aspect of it. And it's got to do with the fact that the summer holidays are around the corner. And I'm sure everyone has prepared, packed their bags, they're ready to travel. So this will put a demand on the dollar, as it were, especially looking at foreign exchange, which typically, spikes as Nigerians travel abroad, go for that, beautiful destinations, spend money, and do all of that. Do you think the Naira would somehow still manage to stay afloat now that we are approaching summer?
Yep, already.
I mean, it's largely, the Naira has largely held its ground. I mean, we're in the middle of August. We've still got 4 or 5 more weeks of the European North American summer right to go, and Naira has generally done well. So we don't think, in the absence of any sort of precipitating event or any serious external shock, maybe a sharp spike, for example, in the price of crude globally, and the Naira being an oil currency would definitely take a hit from things like that. So some kind of significant geopolitical shock. Someone invades someone, fires a missile at someone, and there's that renewed uncertainty in around the world. I don't think that or we do something remarkable domestically back home from an economic standpoint. I don't think that the Naira will the Naira will see any significant period of weakness or uncertainty, at least for the rest of the summer period. I think to our minds, 2025 appears to be mostly locked and baked in, right, from a Naira stability perspective. 2026 and definitely early 2027, right, are the more interesting years because of those, domestic political considerations and how a lot of that excess spending, right, is likely to play out. Another thing I should mention that the CBN has actually done is also modulate the actual supply, the actual money supply, right, and so the amount of Naira that is circulating within the economy, at least the cash component of it, has been largely dampened down. Now, obviously, the first step that we took in getting a handle on that process was, highly destructive and corrosive for, a lot of Nigerian businesses when we had the Naira scarcity thing. But since then, we've been able to build on the gains of that. A lot more transactions, right, are being fulfilled electronically. POS transactions are recording multi-year highs. NIP transactions, instant payments, settlements and all of that are also at record levels. And so the cash component of, Nigeria's overall money supply, right, is coming down to levels that we haven't seen for quite a while. And that also has an effect also tangentially on the value of the Naira. And so we think that a combination of all of these factors means that over the next 6 months, the Naira should generally be fine. I'm saying this for the third time, right? Come New Year 2026, things may get a lot more interesting.
Amen.
Interesting. Now, Mr. Effiong, finally, before we let you go, quickly, if you can. I mean, for the ordinary Nigerians, lay Nigerians watching this program, we've talked about stability, we've talked about good news, and the Naira also. Does this stabilization, what does it translate to for the Nigerian on the street? Does it mean that prices would increase, it's stable, and when will it result to lower prices of goods and services? What does the government need to do? Because all they're interested in is, look, things used to be very expensive. Things are very expensive. And they weren't this expensive before. So is the government looking at that? What do they need to do to further lower prices?
Well, I mean, it's targeted interventions, targeted interventions, especially for lower income households, will be, a very good way to go. Right. So we talked about stability, but this stability is occurring at a higher price point. Fuel prices have never been this high, right, in our history. Food inflation is still at, levels that we haven't seen since the mid 1990s, and sort of the oil shocks and the uncertainty around. Uncertainty around the economic management under the then military administration, right? Our latest Jollof Index indicator, right, which is a food inflation tracking proxy, right, has increased sevenfold from something like 4,000 plus naira in 2016 to 28K, right, by the end of June of this year. So, those are really unsettling and uncomfortable numbers, right? And just as the WTO and Director General said, we've achieved stability, now it's time for growth. Only when the economy begins to grow at a pace which outpaces a lot of these macroeconomic indicators would you begin to see prices begin to soften and, and prices, basically, and calm down. Fact of the matter is that, for most Nigerians who can't afford a lot of services, they really stop spending or they're penny pinching, as it were, right? We need growth so that we are able to create more jobs, we're able to bump up salaries, and that increases the consumption potential, the spending potential of the average Nigerian. And it's only then, right, that, prices would begin to calm down and Nigerians will be able to afford a lot of things that they had historically been able to buy, but over the last few years, they've had to reduce either the quantity or look for substitute products or otherwise just, generally stay out of spending altogether. So that's the way to go. Economic growth needs to easily do, 5 to 7% for Nigerians to really begin to feel the effects of that. But the preconditions are there. Policymakers just need to continue to do the hard work of, sensible common sense reform, as well as supporting lower income households through this trying time and incentivizing investors to continue to invest in the economy so that we're able to bump up wages and Nigerians are able to spend, a lot of that excess cash, as it were, on goods and services within the economy.
All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing these thoughts, especially on this story. And once again, we'll say good news for Nigerians. It surely means that we need to brace up. As the year winds down, or better still comes to an end, we are indeed hoping that very, very soon, the Naira will come down from 1,500 to 900 Naira. 900 to $1.
Is that wishful thinking?
Yes, I believe that it, I mean.
We're allowed to hope.
Yes, that's it.
But hope is not a
strategy. I knew you were going to say that. I knew. Well, thank you so much, Kevin, for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Have a great weekend.
My pleasure. Have a great weekend, guys.
Okay, all right. Anyway, coming up next here will be breakfast headlines on News Central's Breakfast Central. So do well to stay with us.
Breakfast headlines with Joe Hansen. I love that program. Hello, welcome to Breakfast Headlines. I am Benga Aboroa. We begin today's top story with a major international controversy involving two of Nigeria's leading political parties, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and the All Progressive Congress, APC, have both strongly condemned a ruling by a Canadian federal court which declared both parties to be terrorist organizations. This landmark judgment came as the court denied asylum to Douglas Egbereva, a former member of both parties, citing their alleged involvement in political violence and subversion of democracy in Nigeria. The court's decision highlighted severe accusations stating that the APC and PDP have engaged in activities such as voter intimidation, ballot stuffing, and even murder. aimed at maintaining power. The judgment under Canadian law classified these actions as terrorism intended to intimidate the public for political objectives. Meanwhile, 4 out of the 27 local government areas of Borno State are still not secure enough for the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to conduct the 2025-2026 continuous voter registration exercise. Borno State Resident Electoral Commissioner Abubakar Maaji disclosed this to newsmen in Maiduguri as part of preparations for the commencement of the exercise scheduled for Monday. News Central's Umaru Kirawa reports that the electoral umpire, INEC, has relocated continuous voter registration for Abadam to Baga Road opposite Yerawa Peace and Guzamala to Fire Service Department, 1,000 House and Estate.
For security and factors related to safety, 4 INEC local government offices will conduct the physical in-person registration at locations in Maiduguri metropolis rather than the local government headquarters in the state. These affected areas are Abadam, Guzamala, Kalabalge, and Marte local government areas. From 18th of August 2025 to 10th December 2025, we'll start on the 18th with the pre-online registration or the online pre-registration. Then from 15th of December to from 5th of January to 17th of April 2026, we'll have the second phase. The third phase is from 4th of May to 17th of August 2026. At each stage of those 3 phases, there is going to be a display of the voters' register as updated at each stage.
In answer to security matters, the Defense Headquarters says that it has recorded significant successes against terrorist elements across the country in the last 2 weeks. Director of Defense, while speaking to newsmen in Abuja, says that this is affecting farming positively as farmers now have access to their farms, which were formerly overridden by terrorist elements and bandits. It says that senior terrorist commanders have been eliminated, putting their camps and fighters into disarray and depriving them the will to continue their offensive against soft targets.
No doubt that the renewed effort of our gallant troops since the beginning of the wet season has improved the general security situations in the country and paved the way for our farmers to fully engage in farming activities. The terrorists' will to fight has been shattered as many of their strategic commanders have been eliminated during the past 2 months. As such, their capacity to launch coordinated attacks has significantly been degraded as few of their surviving commanders are on their own. This majorly accounts for the confusion within their camps and their resort to isolated attacks on soft targets and civilians.
The Rivers State Police Commander has arrested a religious leader and 4 other members over allegations of child abuse. The arrest followed a viral video that circulated on social media showing the said religious leader whipping a group of naked children in what appears to be a religious ritual. The DPO of the Aneka Police Division, who led the arrest, reveals that the said video was captured at the premises of the Aneka branch of a church known as Our Lord Victory Covenant Mission. Malian authorities have arrested a French national suspected of working for French intelligence amid claims that foreign states are attempting to destabilize the country. The ruling junta in power since the coups in 2020 and 2021 also detained over 50 soldiers accused of plotting to overthrow the government. Among those arrested are 2 generals, including former Governor Abbas Dembele. The arrests were mainly within the National Guard, closely linked to Defense Minister Sadio Kamara, though he remains uninvestigated. And that's all on the news at this hour. Breakfast Central continues shortly. I am Benga Aboroa.
Welcome back to Breakfast Central. Now, of course, we are bringing you newspaper review, and we're bringing multi-award-winning journalist and globally renowned public affairs analyst, Habib Aruna. So what do we owe the honor of seeing you without a cap this morning? I think we need to put offering. Everybody offering time.
Put something.
TGIF.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Happy to have you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for
Good
being
to
here.
have you this morning.
Sadly, in the middle of the entire week, the full stretch from last week up until now, we've not gotten your perspective on the Quam 1, Quam 2 issue.
You've been missing in action.
So we've missed you. I mean,
of course, I'm not too disposed to the way it was resolved.
How better do you think it should have been?
I think society can only progress if people that run variance to the law face the law. There must be consequences for disobeying laws. Yes, we don't say because the man is powerful, he's a music star, blah blah blah. No. That is immaterial. That's consequential. What is important and paramount for society to progress and develop is for people that disobey the law to face the music. You know, they should be adequately prosecuted, and that is the way society is run and progress. So now how do you deter others from doing the same thing, you know, in the future? They can only be deterred if there is punishment for doing the wrong things. In this instance, there was no punishment. Man just came overnight and gave us a statement, directive, that this has been resolved. No, it doesn't work out that way. And that is my personal opinion.
I'm sure a lot of people agree with your opinion as well, because same thing people have said that.
And to make it worse, we're making him an ambassador. Ambassador of what? Of being unruly? Of trying to stop a plane on the tarmac from flying?
But they said he's a music artist. You know?
No. That is not
NLC
done.
also made Naira Marley an ambassador.
Well, they did not say they made him an ambassador, because they came out to clarify that what they said is, you know, seeing as he's become the face, they will use him and his influence to be able to advocate against drug use.
I know the wrong thing of teaching our kids of exhibiting wrong behaviors in public. That is not good enough.
Okay, let's get into the papers. Let's start off with the Punch newspaper. On the front page of the Punch, pension funds strike countdown begins as PENCOM and Labour disagree. We took that earlier today. PENCOM reacts, NSITF silent as Labour issues 7-day strike notice over alleged 40% pension fund diversion. PDP inaugurates 44-member zoning committee, demands Wike's total loyalty. You don't mean it. Sting operation.
I can't imagine.
Is it possible?
I can't even.
Man, they are not punished.
But they also said, sorry, just to hint, they also mentioned last week that going forward, they're going to sanction everybody who is engaging in anti-party, and they will ensure that they are. So I don't understand.
What are they waiting for?
Okay.
There are also stories.
Operation. EFCC denies targeting Obasanjo, arraigned suspects today. Police crush armed robber operating from Lagos refuse dump.
I mean, it's a dirty thing to even engage in armed robbery. They are now operating
from a refuse dump.
I mean,
you are the gutter of the earth. Now
it's a dirty, stinking story.
A dirty robber. By elections, INEC deploys poll materials as parties end campaigns today. Federal government settles 2 trillion naira contractor bills, plans 2025 capital budget spending. Government eyes $4.5 billion oil production savings, and Tambuwal fights back over 189 billion EFCC probe. Finally, Okonjo-Iweala's positive outlook on economy sparks political debates.
I think we should start with
there are many issues there.
Well, yeah, which one do you want to start with?
Okay,
and attack my intention. The lead story is probably, I mean, almost all the stories have it on their front pages, and I like the way Punch captured it. You know, you should not toy with it. My younger brother is a retiree from Risi Ichibadan. He retired about 2 years ago. Till now, they've not paid him. That is the problem. The people that toil, use their sweat to serve the country. And part of their money, one of their salaries was removed as pension. You know, this thing was, they removed the money and put it in the fund, which is what is described as PENCOM. That is PENCOM. The federal government will use that money without the approval of Labour and divert it to other things. So Labour is now saying that, come, what is going on? People that are retired are not being paid. Where's the money that, these are pension. Where is it located?
At the end money.
No, I think they've been meeting the past few days, and they've not been able to receive convincing response from both the government and PENCOM. And that is why they're giving the government 7-day ultimatum. I think it's something that all of us should be interested in.
Yes.
Because no any society toils with its seniors and survive. Seniors are treated with respect and dignity. In Nigeria, over the years, even the military, people that serve in the military, they're owing them pensions.
It's just sacrilege.
So I think this thing is a major issue that Nigeria should focus on and support Labour for making sure that it's a worthy fight.
Okay, what about PDP inaugurating 44 member zoning committee and demand Wike's total loyalty? As you can see there on the front.
Is that asking for too much? Because we also have a situation where the Osun State governor has pledged his endorsement and loyalty to Mr. President in 2027, even though PDP has not even come up with he doesn't even know if it's an angel that will emerge as their presidential candidate.
I said it on this program. What is making PDP to be a bit relevant now is the story out there that there's likelihood that the former president, Jonathan, will contest under his auspices, under the umbrella, of PDP. That's what is making it to be a bit relevant. Because to me, the party has gone. The party has gone. The party is no longer relevant.
Alhaji Atiku Abubakar's exit also contributes to this.
No, not necessarily. Atiku failed to control Wike. I was thinking that Atiku was one of the founding fathers of PDP, before 1999. He's in a better position. He should have the weight and influence. And if, by extension, if you like power, to put
But he left the party. He left the party for
checkmate him. Atiku has a lot of influence, to checkmate Wike, but he failed. Wike controls everything, every the structure in PDP. So for that to have now be saying that Wike should they demand total loyalty from Wike. What are you talking about?
What is the definition of total loyalty?
I don't understand. I was thinking that this time around they will come out with a robust statement, expelling Wike for anti-party activities. That is what normal party does. You don't deodorize his behavior because it's funding the party, and because most of the principal characters in that party are subservient to dictates and control of Wike. Nobody survive like that.
Unexpellable.
We are beginning to look at the direction of PDP because of this Jonathan issue. The party has zoned its presidential candidate to the south, and they're looking in the direction of Jonathan. That's what people are looking at there.
Do you think former President Goodluck Jonathan should come out now and expressly, categorically say or deny? Because all this speculation.
For him not to have come out means that he's still ruminating, he's still thinking about it.
If you could advise him.
I will advise him to come out to the contest.
And then what will happen to Mr. Peter Obi?
Let me tell you.
Wouldn't that make it easier for the president
if Jonathan comes out to contest, you change the dynamic totally. Jonathan is someone that can win.
What about
Jonathan is someone that people in National Rock are afraid of. I can tell you that.
Even Mr. President?
Absolutely. Quote me.
Maybe on paper. I mean, the paper is different from politics. Looking at his credentials,
I look at things
what he has
beyond
done.
the surface.
It's different from what is on the street.
I'm a political reporter.
So what will happen to
you guys are broadcasters.
What?
I work in politics.
Okay.
If you like, be the business man by the side. But he's the only person that they are afraid of. If Jonathan comes out, ADC will be in disarray. I can tell you that. Because you know why? Jonathan only had one time to serve and leave the stage. Did not trust him.
Mr. Peter Obi said he was.
Jonathan is someone that they think is a nationalist. That's not his less. He's now more experienced. He's popular. Global. He has global support. So he can win. And he can animate the structure of PDP across the country. Don't forget that PDP is still now on the biggest party in Nigeria. They have the structures everywhere. You know that imagine we just animate it and make them more formidable, credible, and they can win the election. It will affect EDC. And they know it. You know, the only person that can change it is Jonathan. If you listen to advice, I don't know. But in my view, if it enters the stage, it will change the dynamics totally.
So where does that leave Mr. Peter Obi?
No. Obi, no, it doesn't affect it. Obi is not coming. Obi is coming to PDP.
No, in terms of his presidential ambition.
South, you know.
No, you see, it will divide many things.
And wouldn't that give
Obedient will be in disarray. Obedient will be in disarray. Obedient.
You think the obedience will throw their support behind
people believe in Jonathan. You see, in politics, sympathy means a lot. Trustworthiness means a lot. People believe that the man left the stage and he capitulated. Something that is not hard of. That he come worry, I'm lost. I've lost the election to you. Take over the government.
Yeah, it's a responsible thing to do.
Because we gather a lot of political capital if you enter the stage. I bet you. It will change many things. And I think they're still thinking in the aids and many of his supporters are strategizing to look at the pros and cons. But I bet you, the only person that they're afraid of in Aso Rock.
Okay.
Okay, let's look at some other stories. Let's quickly move now to the Daily Times newspaper. Very interesting story.
The party, you've not discussed this story of Punch.
Which of them?
The story on Okonjo-Iweala.
Oh yes.
People are taking it differently. Most of them are saying that after meeting the president, of course, you can't expect meeting the president and telling the whole world negative things. Not possible. Be singing.
This is another angle.
Yes.
I mean, that's why.
No, but looking at her
the man has
reputation,
stabilized the economy. To some extent, that is right.
She's being factual.
To some extent, that is right. President Tinubu has stabilized the economy. He's coming in, put a stop to many things. Subsidy, foreign exchange, foreign reserve, import and export. Our export is rising. The only problem is that it has not percolated. The
cost of living is
high. The cost of living, people are still suffering.
And that's the
that is the angle that Daily Trust took into this headline. Okonjo-Iweala advised the president to take care of the welfare of the people. Because I cannot understand why we are making so much money from subsidy removal, making so much money from taxes, and we are still borrowing.
We are building and renovating.
And our governors are busy building government houses and airports. It's not, you can't reconcile it.
You're right.
Okay, I want us now to look at the Daily Times newspaper. On the front page, the big story, very interesting one there. Tinubu has traveled 200 out of 806 days in office. Obi raises alarm. This is, of course, because Peter Obi has made another announcement.
One-man opposition party by himself.
One-man army.
No, and that is what is needed.
Very commendable.
That is what is needed in a democracy. You know, someone should be talking. And when they're talking, the media has a responsibility of making sure that what he's saying is put into the public space.
Kudos to Daily Times and News Central.
Look at that statistics. He's done his own work. If you read Peter Obi's statement on S, you will know that his guys are doing a good job. They put it together for him.
With data,
he go through it and he post
yes.
it. You know, what Obi is saying, yesterday when they asked me that on the TV program, I said, well, I have no comment. But the president has been elusive from time now. Suddenly, he reappeared on 2 days ago, first meeting, and suddenly he's traveling. So 2 plus 2.
And they didn't expressly say when he will return to the country.
Is that for based on your conclusion?
So, I mean, we live in a global village.
But Obi's intervention should be here.
So what's your take on the travels? We live in a global village. Nigeria is not an island. The president needs to engage in bilateral relations. He's been taking the role of chief diplomat. If you do recall, we don't have ambassadors in many of our missions overseas.
Becoming too much and becoming too
are we not the gains? What the gains we are gaining from his travel? Does it overweigh the? Does it?
People are saying that there was a story last week that all the governors have been traveling abroad to lure foreign investors. And we should name one person that has come to invest.
We have a caller. Let's take this call. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Uche. Hello, Uche, are you there?
Hello,
yes, good morning,
Good
Uche.
morning.
We can hear you. Please go ahead. Thanks for calling.
Thank you for having me. You see, Jonathan, let me listen there. If Jonathan enters the race is going to fail. They are going to disappoint him. They want to rubbish Jonathan. Believe you me. You know why? Second part.
Sorry, your audio is really bad, so we'd have to disconnect. If you can call back again, we'll appreciate that. But I think the one thing that we can pick up from what it says is that if Jonathan comes into the race, that they're going to rubbish him. Then he's going to fail.
Yeah.
He doesn't agree with you.
I mean, I kind of align with Uche's thoughts. I mean, we share the same opinion, but he, Mr. B. Baronos,
you share the same opinion too.
Yes.
But you see, we need to look at the pros and cons. In my view, that is the only person that can change dynamics.
On paper.
Yes.
Paper is different from reality.
No, because you see, the opposition needs someone that is trustworthy, someone that is credible, that they can push, they can rally around, and that kind of person, to me, and it's acceptable. That kind of person is
they did that with Buhari. How did that go?
Buhari won.
Yes, but are the people better?
No, you see, he has been there
after 8
before.
years?
The advantage of living power, willingly living power, is a major advantage for him. He decided to enter the race this time around. Yes, you must look at his pros and cons, but the merits and demerits. The merits far outweighs the demerits in this instance.
There's another headline news item I want us to take here.
Okay.
I don't know if it's too good to be true, because we can sign MOUs and just, blow it out of proportion. We get excited. And there's a Thomas in every Nigerian. So I will take this with a pinch of salt. FG Partners to launch $60 billion. You know how much that is? $60 billion gas-powered high-speed railway, like what you see in France, in Japan, in China. Do you think this can come to fruition?
Yeah, we saw that. We saw that story, that report yesterday.
In Ibadan, they were
trying to.
Vandals were vandalizing rail tracks. So I want to do high speed.
All these things that don't mean wishful thinking.
No, but we have a report that showed that they were signing the memorandum. Yes, Mr. Uko, who happens to be the chairman of the company, and the
memorandum was signed. Memorandum was signed by former President Buhari and Sime. To give Nigeria 24 hours. Till now, we are still waiting for its consummation. So those things are.
I mean, the high-speed railway,
what do we need now?
It's very good. We can have lunch. Only Joe and I can go to Kano, have lunch, and come back to Lagos.
Honestly,
we always miss these opportunities to move forward in this country. And it's unfortunate. That this should have been done by Jakonde. Jakonde had that dream, that plan. And Buhari was the one that messed it up. So it's unfortunate. I don't know what is wrong with Nigeria.
But there's also a worry in this entire conversation we're having. When the late Lateef Jakonde, former governor, had plans for all of this to ensure that Lagos becomes the metropolis, the main city, the digitized city that a mega city that they're now calling for. It was interrupted by the late President Muhammadu Buhari. Let's stop there. When President Goodluck Jonathan was trying to remove the fuel subsidy and say that it will help better the lives of Nigerians, it was truncated by the current president and so on.
So hold on, let's hear from Ike. Ike is calling from Abad. Good morning, Ike. Thanks for calling. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to the guests we have in the studio.
Yeah, Ike, go on.
Okay, like the last caller was calling, which he was saying something that involving good luck coming to the pictures, like making a slap and making a mockery of good luck. Should I go ahead?
We can hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay. Before his network, I think network interrupted him. And your guest there was saying, good luck is the man we need. This good luck was the same person. Nigerians were criticizing. Now, what is good luck coming to do? Is he coming to redeem Nigeria? Will Peter Obi, Atiku, and Co. support him, work with him, or we just want to lead Nigeria into 7? Good luck is there, Obi is there, Atiku is there, this one is there. How can they come out to rescue Nigeria?
All right. Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts with us. And on
Mr.
YouTube,
Amaechi has said he will end corruption in 1 month.
Yeah.
So let's not forget that.
YouTube have also reacted. Okonjo-Iweala says, even though I don't want Jonathan to run, the moment he declares to run, watch the FCC come out with all those files that they have kept for years.
They might do a tambuwal.
A tambuwal on him. They've also disagreed with Okonjo-Iweala. Annie Chinedu Brown says, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala will pay dearly politically when the time comes for the harakiri she committed for that dastardly PR Tinubu cajoled her into doing. Is economic stability measured by, I think, is this status he meant to say. And Okonjo-Iweala says, again, that Tinubu has only thrown us into more poverty, has reduced the purchasing power and widened tax nets.
She said the economy is stable. She didn't say he's doing a fantastic job. Must everything be seen through political lens?
All right, I want us to take a story before we wrap up because we're almost out of time. On the Daily Trust, top left corner of the paper, PDP kicks as Canadian court designates party APC terrorist organizations. Now,
we can also get a magistrate court in Ogba to declare a Canadian party terrorist organization.
It was a judgment delivered by Canada.
Federal Court of Canada, yes.
Canada. Respect to a case in Nigeria. I think that is not.
They don't have the local
That is not
standing.
the policy, foreign policy.
So let me give a bit of a background story.
Yes.
According to the news, it says the Federal Court of Canada upheld the ruling that classified Nigeria's APC and PDP as terrorist organizations while denying asylum to a former member, Douglas Egariba, over his decade-long affiliation with both parties. In a judgment delivered on June 17, 2025, Justice Fongo dismissed Egariba's application for judicial review after the Immigration Appeal Division found him inadmissible under Canada's Immigration and Refugee Protection Act, IRPA. According to the People's Gazette, the Ministry of Public Safety and Emergency Preparedness had argued that the APC and PDP were implicated in political violence, subversion of democracy, and electoral bloodshed in Nigeria. Court records show that Egariba was a PDP member from 1999 to 2007 before joining the APC, where he remained. So basically, what is happening is reputation of PDP and APC have
denied him his
him.
asylum.
Exactly. So
if you can't enter Canada, you should try Mexico. It's not too far from Canada.
Most Nigerians will paint the country black to get
just to get
support.
I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean that's what they are doing. And the judgment by a court, the opinion of a judge, does not translate. Does not translate to the foreign policy of Canada.
Absolutely.
The presidency needs to summon the Canadian ambassador to Nigeria to look.
And the risk of this is that Nigerians home and abroad, young people who are probably looking to go to Canada, if they've had any political affiliations, it might reflect poorly on their application.
Not only that, that's what they do. They paint the country black. Someone will tell you that. And they're looking for it. They will go and forge police report, to get all this succor in foreign countries. That's what they do. It's not a new thing. The only thing is that PDP and APC appeared and they've been described as foreign.
Olive, as a lawyer, are you not going to go and defend us in Canada?
It's not a big deal.
Please.
Time is running out. Let's look at another one. Just still Daily Trust. I don't know if you guys saw the picture. Governor Mba commissions 5 mega transport terminals, 100 mass transit CNG buses in Enugu. And the picture shows them sitting down inside the mass transit there. But hey, it's okay. Let's look at this big story.
No.
You want to take that?
Yes.
Please go ahead.
In a season,
go ahead.
We are all blaming the governors, presenting them for not doing the right thing, collecting more money from the federal government, but doing little.
Yeah.
For the people at the grassroots. I think what the governor is doing in Enugu is highly commendable. should be commended. I've been to Enugu twice for a conference. I can tell you that the man is not joking. He's not. He's working. It's some sign of improvement in the state, and the man is what should be commended. The only thing is that as you maintain those things, it's also a thing we must look at. You will maintain it.
I agree.
All right.
It's only commendable.
I watched Toilet Bathrooms in Motion to Survive, Falcons captain. And she also said that they haven't paid them their money. What do you feel?
What's that? Where?
The promises that were made, the $100,000.
No, they will be paid. It's bureaucratic. It's a process. They will be paid. Media is just overblowing all these things.
No, it's what she said.
No. When they promise,
people are putting pressure on our family.
When Tinubu promises something, then it is president, Mr. Tinubu. Anything he says like that, we give it to.
But people are disturbing.
No. They're just people. They exercise patience.
If you were,
it's a process. It's not just. It's not a
they
bank.
should calm down.
It's not just like New Central. Collect something, get it tomorrow. It's a federal government. It's a process. And
we hope the process will not be like Atlanta.
A lot of money is involved.
You have to gazette.
They give them awards. They giving them houses.
Right. Anyway,
they just exercise patience.
If you were in our shoes, would you prefer to collect the award first or the money?
No. Hold the award. Let's have both of them together.
If she were to
let's
sing
have
a
it.
song,
Let's have it. Come on.
If she were to sing a song now, the song she would sing would be "Baby Money." You don't know that song?
No.
Oh,
okay.
Is it Jaro?
Life is all about the money.
Is it Jaro or Tupac?
I don't know who sang it.
But
well, I'm wrapping up
not
on a light note.
Music.
Because we are entering into entertainment.
I'm into Don Moen.
And Sam Dandy is here. He'll be giving us the latest on entertainment. The fake Don Moen in the studio, maybe we'll kick him out for entertainment.
Absolutely. Shouldn't
Thank
be
you
here.
very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bimbo.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Entertainment up next.
And I hope Sam Dandy has some gospel music for us.
Oh my goodness. Cheryl.
It's now time for Entertainment Roundup, my best segment all week, just because, the host is a fantastic guy I love so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we present to you Sam Dandy, formerly known as Samuel Ojo, biologically. Botanically.
Wow. My father will be shaking his head.
Sam Dandy, let's just
talk about how you were singing Davido before and you didn't know it was Davido.
No, not you people.
She knew.
Why did you people not know if you knew the answer?
I know this song.
Their ancestors, that's why.
Give me the money.
I'm into gospel, Don Moen, Panam Percy Paul, and Mick, and only the Mick Shire.
Wow.
Mick Pele.
Let's get into entertainment.
All right, please.
Fuji legend Wasiu Ayinde Marshall, widely known as Kwam One, has been tapped by the federal government to serve as an ambassador for proper airport security protocol. Now, this development follows his August 5th confrontation at Abuja's Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, where he allegedly obstructed a value jet aircraft. In a statement, Aviation Minister Festus Keyamo confirmed that Kwam One's flight ban has been reduced to 1 month, and that the Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority will withdraw its criminal complaint. Now, the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, FAN, will oversee his new public awareness role. This is interesting. A lot of people have reacted to this one on socials. He's a Fuji legend.
It's gone scot-free. I haven't been on a plane in God knows how many months, so if you deprive him of flying for one, but he has a business interest, so maybe that could be, severe punishment. But I just think it's you need to set examples for bad behavior. They just whitewashed everything, and then Kwam 2 should be happy Kwam 1 happened, because if Kwam 1 didn't happen, she will not
really sleep for Kirikiri.
Yeah.
So if not for that, and the fact that those people malhandled her the way that they did. But then again, this has brought up the conversation about whether we reward bad behavior. We understand what Festus Keyamo was trying to drive at, and he would use their platform and whatever, that it's in a manner akin to community service, but they should have just called it community service or whatever. Because hearing ambassador sounds very dignified. You don't reward bad behavior by giving an elevated position. Because what this has done, if you go on X, you see young people saying, oh, what do I need to do to blow? Because there's Kwam 1, there's Kwam 2. Kwam 2, they've offered her job opportunity, 500,000, all expense paid trip, and a promise of a good time.
Wow.
A good time, oh.
So people are saying, what do they need to do
an
now?
album.
That's a Davido's album.
Exactly.
A good time.
Who do they need to go and fight? What do they need to do to be Kwam 2? Kwam 3 is already trending on X because it feels like we reward bad behavior, but then again, it is well.
From one controversy to another, the iconic Charlie Boy bus stop in Bariga, Lagos, now renamed Bado bus stop, is still a matter of controversy. The veteran rebel musician isn't backing down. He's calling it petty and irrational and a legacy you can't rename. Now, lawyers too, human rights lawyer Femi Falana, criticized the renaming, calling it unconstitutional and authoritarian.
Oh, wow.
I did see a video of him going to visit the bus stop. And coincidentally, I don't know if we have that footage. I think that's what's playing right there on the screen. Maybe if we could see it, that would be nice. Let's take a look.
Well, guess where I am? Guess. Olamide Bado bus stop. That is what is called now. Yes. Everybody wave. Yes, sir. Nobody will shake down.
Kind of proves that he still maybe has power on the streets. Can I call it that?
Whether you say he has power on the street or not, if you enter bus and they are calling bus stop, and you reach and you say Olamide Bado bus stop, if they carry you go Lagos Island, that's on you. I don't think that would ever change.
And I think, people are all those guys hailing him. If Olamide comes there,
they would hail him too. You see, at the end of that video, we didn't know what transpired.
No, but the truth is, because we're very, very difficult to change. The same way people then initially said trying to do Anthony call. They will carry you past your bus. If you don't say Anthony in that way, they will carry you past your bus stop.
Or if you're dropping at, I remember one time this girl said, conductor, can I alight
here?
At Palm Grove? They said that English is too much. It's aeroplane English. Can I come down at Palm Grove?
Wow. You just say, oh, wow.
Anyway,
it's Olamide bus stop officially. But unofficially, they will still call it Charlie Boy.
They will. Let's move to
just look at NEPA and PHCN.
Till tomorrow,
people still say NEPA. You know what? We're moving to something more interesting. Tokyo Makiwa is expecting the broadcaster and influencer shared the heartwarming news. She's expecting her first child. Now, in an emotional Instagram post,
colleague in the industry.
She described it as the biggest project of my life, the highest calling ever, and Nigerians responded with love. All right, the heartwarming reflection. In fact, over a few hours, you could see thousands, tens of thousands, 40,000 comments. People are truly happy about this.
Right. Congratulations to her. I mean, I think that motherhood is... I've never been a mother. I hope that one day I'll have the honor and the privilege.
But I thought you were my mama, though.
Oh, that's so sweet.
My ovaries.
But I hope that, one day I will have that privilege.
But I think that's such a high call. Look at this high...
The video.
I know.
Definition video to announce a pregnancy. I guess that's Next what level. Happens when you're a celebrity. But it's worth celebrating. I mean, she's bringing a child into this life.
There was a negative comment on the post that a number of celebrities have been reacting to. I've seen Real Worry Pikin and Tiwa Savage asking the lady to delete it. And in that comment, the person was saying she doubts that it's Toke Makinwa carrying the pregnancy, that it might be a surrogate.
Wow.
Or just like,
well, nothing wrong with
surrogacy. You can choose not
to...
Well, there's nothing wrong with that, but you can choose not to comment.
Just don't say anything.
If you want to drop something negative, you can choose not to comment and move past. I know that there's a lot of celebration for this. And, there are lots of reactions as well behind the scenes. There are also people who like, what's going on? What's happening? Everybody, who is the father? All those kind of comments. You see them in the comment section. But ultimately,
someone even went as far as going back to Linda Ikeji, bringing her story that remember she was all about women power, and then she went and got pregnant.
It's all necessary.
I'm like, you guys really have time.
Let people live their lives.
People have time.
Yeah. Anyway, Olive, I would like to know your comments on the hair. It's quite gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
Absolutely.
It's like
The hair
a
was
lioness's mane.
It's giving Nala of Lion King.
Yes. I like how much would that hair cost? I think
Just
I want
don't
to
bother.
purchase it for my wife.
Don't bother.
Sam, thanks for coming
Are you
on the show.
looking at me?
Thanks for
Are you
coming on the
looking
show.
down
Thanks.
on me with that?
Watch entertainment. While we leave these two to scuffle it out, watch entertainment live. Get more scoops.
That's right.
Gist.
That's right.
4:30 p.m. today. And well done. You guys have been speaking to very fantastic people, and I like what's going on.
And if you're nice to me, I might just link you up with Kevin Hart. Go to kevinhart.com.
We'll wait for him.
Guys, have a great weekend.
And a very, very special shout out to
Join Mazino and Judith.
Oyin Olabode. Very, very special shout out. I love you.
Our wife.
Kisses, our wife.
Mwah.